And welcome here tonight to tonight's running of the Holes on Post 301 presented by NuffWORLD TV here. I'm Douglas Sargent up here in the booth. I'll be joined tonight with Kevin Kelly also commentating with me. And of course, we got Stephen Mahana back here doing all the wonderful job, with this production stuff. He's back here giving you all the great images you're going to be seeing here tonight. Second race of the chase here, Kevin. So last week we had some comers and goers, what do you think about last week and coming into tonight here at New Hampshire?
Man, I tell you, Doug, last week, it was back and forth, back and forth. We had the three-car getting a penalty, coming back to take the win there, and that was crazy. And if that race is going to be an indication of what we're going to have here, it's going to be insane. Like you said, we had a big shake-up in the points last week, had some drivers that couldn't make it. So Doug, they're going to be driving real hard to try to get back up in here in this thing.
Yeah, and looking at the points now, like I said, this is a chase race number 2 of 10, and Louis Busta right now, he's got a pretty commanding lead up there. He's 11 points ahead of Ben Bando after last week's win. But now one guy who jumped up a lot of spots last week after that run was Kevin Kelly Jr. moves up into the number 3 slot with a jump of 6 positions, and followed behind the tied for the biggest jumper of the week right there is Ben Britton, moved up into 4th place, along with Brian Lee, also moving up 8 positions into the number 5 spot. So, those guys made up a lot of ground last week, Kevin.
Yes, they did. If you look at them, Doug, I mean, there's not many points separating those top 5 or 6 guys. So every point, as we said last week, Doug, as you remember, the 16, we all but rode him off of that race. He turns around and comes back, and I believe got a 6th or 5th place out of that deal, and he's right back into the whole thing again. So like we said last week, every point counts here, and this track, man, it's kind of a hybrid, Doug. It's some people call it the speedway that drives like a short track, and vice versa. So usually you get a lot of hot tempers here, hot tires, and hot brakes.
Yeah, those are going to be some things to watch out for tonight. But looking back into the points here, 6th place, Frankie Samanto, nice run last week, moves up 5 positions into the 6th place position. Darren Benge, who was on our pole tonight, moves up 3 positions into the 7th place position. Jerry Hinkle dropped 2 in the standings after a disappointing run last week. He's in 8th position. Christian Vasquez dropping 6 positions after a bad run last week himself. Justin Barton also not having a run he wanted last week, drops 3 positions. And Bruce Turner was one of the guys who kind of salvaged some points out of that, Kelly, but didn't really, have the best night. Moves up 3 positions up into the 11th place position. In 12th, 13th, and 14th, of course, we have Dale Reynolds, Danny Gutierrez, and Dennis Wright, all 3 chasers who unable to make it through tech inspection last week and unable to race. So unfortunate break for those guys. They got a long way to come back now.
Yeah, a lot of points to make up. Of course, we can have some bad luck by the front runners. This is one of those tracks. There is no place to hide from carnage, as we say it over here at the VSU Cup. One guy spins out in front of the field. Most of the tracks that we run on, the 1.5 miles, and even Bristol, the half mile has some banking that, it's kind of a self-cleaning. This track here, the cars kind of just stay right in the way. They don't go too much. And your spotter's got to be on the ball here. Doug, let's talk about some keys to the race here.
Yeah, Kevin, some keys to the race here, definitely on this track. Just like you said, it's a definite one of a kind here. First and foremost, of course, is going to be that the high drop-off on long runs. We're going to see guys, who are going to have quite a bit of time drop off, 2 to 3 seconds maybe even, on these long runs. And then, of course, turns 1 and 3, the entry in there. Both 1 and 3, the entries have a dip when you're going into those entries, which can cause you to lock up those tires if you're getting in there pretty heavy, under the heavy braking, and you'll slide right up in the corners and, causes a lot of loss of time, a lot of speed right there, and can let a lot of guys get around you. Some of the strategies, though, to think about, too, here also are, are you downshifting or are you staying in 4th gear most of the time? You're going to see a mix of both of those out here. Of course, getting through the corners here, the problem is here that you got those tight corners. People compare this, just like you said, Kevin, it's like a big Martinsville. Well, what's big about it's the straightaways. They're a lot longer than what it is at Martinsville, which allows these cars to gain more speed, so you got more speed coming into that corner entry. And they're very tight here relative to the size of the track, so the cars are always tight in the middle of the corner. So the teams are going to fight year after year right here in New Hampshire. It's tight in the middle of the corner and trying to get this car to, turn there in the middle. And you got to loosen that chassis up, but you don't want to get it too loose coming up off the corners there. So you'll, of course, have some problems. And then we talked about brakes there just a moment ago too. Brakes are a very, very important piece here at New Hampshire, and they've got to be able to last you at least the 300 miles that you're here. One of the advantage here, though, over places like we talk about it, kind of drives like a Martinsville, is that it's only 300 miles here, 300 laps, so to speak. So it's only 600 times you're going to brake here versus what you would do at a place like Martinsville, where you're going to be braking over 1,000 times. And fuel mileage is going to be a big strategy here tonight too. Some guys are, going to be shifting, and some are going to be, running that fourth gear. So those who shift probably aren't going to get the same, same amount of fuel mileage as what those guys who are staying in fourth gear. So that'll play heavily into factor tonight too. And then you also got, that track position is going to be a key thing out here tonight. Outside late in the run, it's going to be really hard to pass guys. If they run that inside line and you start wearing tires out as you get through a run, it's going to be hard to pass on that outside. And then of course you got a long pit window here, 90 to 110 lap pit window. So that's a lot of miles to put on the tires there, Kevin, and try to save them over that amount of time.
Yeah, there's such long runs here. The tendency for, well, I should say the trend that we usually see at New Hampshire is basically we get a couple cautions within the first 50, 75 laps or whatever, and then they kind of settle in. And you were talking a while ago about tire wear and the fuel run and the brakes and all that. It's so hard to come up with a balanced package here because you're always fighting either a tight or a loose. Very rarely do you feel pretty neutral here. The guy that dials that setup in, it can be right on the edge, kind of the razor blade, if you have it there, of right on the edge of spinning out, is probably going to nail this setup coming into this. And you're talking about, fuel, 90 to 110 laps and tires. Man, this is one of those tracks where if, some of the other tracks we run at, you can get away with taking right sides and coming in and getting a splash or whatever. As you know here, Doug, you can't take two here. You can, but you will be swallowed up here. I mean, tires are so important, and we're talking about Martinsville, and braking, and tire wear and braking here is just as important as there. I mean, you get stuck out here with bad tires, and you're up front, you're going to get swallowed up pretty quick.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, you get out there with old tires, like you said, Kevin, up front, and, you try to take off down into turn one. Those guys with fresh tires, it's not going to take you long to find yourself, in the first few laps already falling outside the top 10, and over the course of maybe 20, 30 laps, even finding yourself going a lap down because those times drop off so much as the tires get ate up here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So, that's going to be something to watch throughout the night as I see some of the guys are out there taking this last chance happy hour run that we got going on right now. It looks like the drivers' meeting is over, so, shouldn't be too much longer. We go some green flag racing here, but it's going to be interesting to see tonight how, things play out with these points and how those who were able to make something out of nothing, per se, last week, how they fare tonight with, after tonight, 8 more races to go to crown the champion. So it's going to be interesting to see some of the strategies actually get employed here tonight.
Yeah, like I said, this is, people say, wow, this race is only 300 laps, or 300 laps here might as well be 500 somewhere else. This place is so physically demanding on the car, physically demanding on the driver. Most times when we go to a place, it's only 250 laps or whatever. This place will beat you up, and if you don't respect her, she'll get you, especially coming off of turn 2 and coming off of turn 4. You start heating that right rear tire up in the last part of a run, and you could be asking for trouble. So you got to be on top of the wheel every lap here.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, you talk about, it's only 300 laps here, 301 per se, 301 miles, but I'm telling you, the way you got a white knuckle around this track with this, here at New Hampshire, I think I would much rather just do the 500 miles at high speeds of Daytona or Talladega than to have to do the 300 miles here. It seems like it's not as physically demanding on you.
Yeah, it's, we look at some of the past winners here. I mean, there's a bunch of them, since the VSU Cup started. We look at the winning, I should say the track record, I'm sorry, it was a 28.265. We didn't break that today. We got Darren Bench in a 15 out there. I think he ran a 28.298. So just missed that track record there by a little bit. But again, it just shows, the difference. We're looking at race speeds right now in the 5s and 6s, 28.5s, 28.6s. So there's not a whole lot of drop-off from race trim to qualifying. So they just basically, like you said, white knuckling around here. 2/10, man, that's not a lot off the pole.
Yeah, that's for sure. And kind of mentioning stats, one of the guys who's done really well here over the time that he's spent here in NuffWorld is Louis Bussa III, which I didn't pay attention myself how they qualified there, but this guy's been here to New Hampshire 3 times with the VSU Cup Series and has 2 wins out of the 3 times he's been here, and has finished within the top 10 all races basically that he's been here. So he's got a good track record. But one of the guys that would be a chance, to kind of take that as far as stats goes, I don't see him on the grid right now, though, is that 29 of Jeremy Enix. Hate to see if he doesn't show tonight once again, but, definitely you got to say for odds on favorite based off of statistics over the last couple of years, it's definitely got to be Louis Bussa.
Yeah, he's there in and out every race, so you got to watch out for him. But like you said, mistakes is the biggest thing, Doug, and we saw him commit one last week, and I don't think he can get away with that again here this weekend.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of drivers talk about that over the last week or so, Kevin. We've seen Louis Bussa have troubles with pit road over the last, throughout this year, so to speak. A couple of times come to mind, especially having some troubles on pit road and, getting himself, almost a lap down or at the tail end of the lead lap, whatever the case may be. And, sooner or later, one would have to think that that luck has got to run out for Louis.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, it's a fine line. You got to get all you can get on pit road and get off of pit road, but you got to stay at the speed of it in between. And sometimes you just try to get too much and get a little greedy. And when it comes time to chase time, you don't want to put yourself at a disadvantage like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, that may be one of the things to kind of watch here tonight. We talk about strategies is who might try to stay out there and actually try to run, those tires to the very end of that 90 to 110 laps versus, how many might try to come in and do that old short pit as we talk about a lot of times, get that fresh rubber and such. So that's something that we're going to be kind of watching here tonight. But we're going to take a quick commercial break here real quick and get our national anthem thrown out. And we'll be back with some live racing action here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway and then Halls on Post 301. Stay tuned.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad streets and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we so gallantly streaming, and rugged glad the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And welcome back here to New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in Loudon, New Hampshire for tonight's running of the Halls on Post 301 presented by NuffWORLD TV. We're getting ready to go line everybody up here on the grid for a moment, but a lot of things to look forward here tonight with just like we were talking during the break there, Kevin. You were talking about a lot of guys going to be trying some per se, I would say bonsai move, but maybe getting a little aggressive tonight, trying to make up some points as, they missed last week's race.
Yeah, and they got to be careful themselves. You start making moves too early, get yourself caught up in a wreck or whatever, and you're going to have a repeat of last week. Even though you weren't there, you're basically going to lose some points. The 16 car making all those points up last week, yeah, I don't think you're going to see anything like that here. I think he just had a good enough car underneath him and had some luck work on his side. But I'll tell you one thing, the first 15, 20 laps of this race are going to be like driving on ice. We're going to see who hit the setup and who didn't right off the bat.
Yeah, that's going to be a key too tonight. You talk about who hit the setup right off the bat. You get out here, on this track, so to speak, and right off the bat, if you haven't hit it during the first part of the race or at least somewhat close, you can find yourself in a bad position real quick early in the race and battling all night, unfortunately, Kevin.
Yeah, it's one of those races where track position is everything. You want to start up front. But you don't want to be too far back in the field. You're getting caught up in somebody else's mistake. So I don't think there's a safe place on this racetrack. You just got to race your race. Don't worry about the guy around you. And if you got a car with 75 to go, you just got to go for it.
Right, you are. And we got the starting grid up here tonight, Kevin. Starting on the pole, tonight's VSU Cup pole award winner, Darren Binge, sitting out there in at number 15, who ran a 28.292. Then we got starting on his outside in the second place position at number 3 of Louis Bussa. Starting in third will be that 33 of Ben Bando. Starting fourth will be the 42 of Travis McKinney. Starting in the fifth place position will be the 16 of Brian Lee, followed by the 27 of Dale Reynolds. In seventh place position, we got the 08 of Danny Gutierrez. Starting in 8th place position will be the number 4 of Dennis Wright. Starting in 9th will be the 03 of Bruce Turner. And rounding out the top 10 will be the 23 of Frankie Samato.
All right, starting in the 11th position, got the 87 of Kevin Kelly Jr. In 12th, we've got the 83 of Timmy St. Jean. In 13th, we've got the 55 of Dwayne Hall. P14, we got the 76 of Josh Biddle. In P15, we've got Chuck Garcia. P16, we've got the 34 of Ben Britton. 17th, Jerry Hinkle. And we're ready to go green here.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. We don't have a lot of time to go through that grid here. These guys a very short track, Kevin, so we get ready to get some green flag racing going here. So it'll be interesting as we get that green flag and head off into turn 1 here. Looks like got two good fouls here. We got the Bando Louis Bussa fighting up on that outside, but looks like coming out of 2 there, looks like good bite down on the inside for that number 15 of Darren Binge as he clears Louis Bussa, moves up into the high line.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is you want to get single file right away. You get stuck on the outside, these guys on the bottom are going to drive right through. I think the 3 tried to get out there and gain a position to see if he could get out there and get down low, and just had to settle in second place.
Yeah, that happens a lot of times. You definitely don't want to get stuck up on that high side, especially with a group like that, especially a long line on the inside, because you never know when you're going to be able to get back down into that position, and it can make for a long night here. You get stuck up on that outside with a bunch of cars coming underneath you.
That's it. Right now they're all waiting for the tire pressures to come up on here, put a little bit of heat in the brakes. And we see somebody sliding up high just a little bit at the 42 of Travis McKinney. Has to give up that third place spot there to the 33 of Ben Bando.
Yeah, Ben Bando was able to get down underneath him there, but looks like he's going to try the same thing on Bando here, getting down into the corners. He tries that inside now and's got Bando in that 33 up on the outside. So looks like these guys are going to try to swap that third place position around for a few times, but sitting right there behind him, Dale Reynolds in that number 27, he's got to be a little patient as all this is going on right in front of him right now.
Yeah, I got somebody way high in the back. Looked like maybe the 83 got kind of high there going in that corner. He's going to lose several spots there. Settles back in. Like you said, the tire pressures are still trying to come up. You're trying to feel that thing up, and you're not going to know what you got until about a good 15 laps in.
Yeah, and it looks like the leaders coming up as they come out of turn 2 right there, coming up on some lap traffic, unfortunately. Some of those guys, it's one of the rules over here with NuffWORLD Racing. You fail to make qualifying, you got to serve a drive-through penalty after you're taking the green and such. So, looks like Leggio and Dunford both missed qualifying, so they're going to serve that drive-through, and they got the leaders right behind them already. And here we are, unfortunately for those guys, lap 4, and they're in danger of going a lap down already, Kevin.
Yeah, that's it. Getting a lap down here early is not what you want to do at New Hampshire. That's why, basically if you have a tire go down to something like that, you're basically waiting for a caution really, really quick. So These guys have just got to stay focused, drive their race. If the leader gets them, they're just going to have to deal with it and wait for that caution to get that lucky dog or a wait around. But, you can't overdrive it. That'd be the worst thing to do.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right now to think about. If you're sitting there in Jimmy Leggio's car, you got the leader right behind you, and you got that one car of Dunford up there in front of you. The best thing you can think about right now is if these leaders get behind you, just be patient, drop in where you can, get in that single file with the leaders, and let them pass Dunford, and you just follow them on through to get into that lucky dog position. But that's the key he's going to have to work with right now, is both of those guys, as he shoots way up high, allows Darren Benj to get underneath him here, is be very patient here, because there's still a lot of race, but definitely not a position you want to be in right now.
Yeah, looking back through the field, everybody is pretty much single file. There's not really any battles going on the track, except, like I said, the lap down cars here getting high, letting the leaders go through. And that happens here at New Hampshire. The restarts, I've always said the restarts here are probably the most exciting anywhere, because you got a flat track. They say it's got 6 to 9 degrees of banking in there, but that's way at the top, and we don't race there. So basically, they're going to run hard for about 4 or 5 laps, get the newness off those tires, and try to get all they can get, and then they got to settle in. But as you look through the field here, really not a lot of side-by-side racing, Doug.
Yeah, there's really not. And like you said, the only place that you got any banking to turn here is up on that high side. And, we've referred to that a couple of times already tonight. That's definitely a place you don't want to be, because, you might get some banking up there, but at the same time, you ain't going to get the speed to make up for what that inside line is bringing, So, you're definitely going to lose some positions you get up there, even though you may not wear the tires as bad. So you kind of trade off, in my opinion, a bad trade-off there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and right about now, these guys pretty much have an idea of what they've got so far as a setup. They're either on the radio screaming one way that I'm tight or I'm loose, or, I doubt you're going to hear anybody that's completely comfortable with the car. Although the 15 looks really good entry through the center and exit, but as we all know, 90 laps on a fuel run here or a tire run, where you want to look at it, a lot can change in that amount of time.
Yeah, that's for sure. A lot can change in the amount of time, especially, we talked about earlier in pre-race, 90 to 110 laps on a fuel and tire run. A lot can change on these cars in 90 to 110 laps. So, we'll have to look at, see how, that changes as we just crossed over. We got 10 laps complete now, a long way to go, as Darren Benj has, looks like he's looking underneath the number 90 of Dunford there, and it's going to clear him coming up off a 2 here. Oh, looked like Dunford got a little wobbly there coming up off the corner, and
yes, he
a bad
did.
Situation.
Yes, he did. And way high in the corner, you're up there in the marbles and stuff. You don't really want to be up in there. You want to be careful right here. It gets tight on you right there coming off. If you get in that corner a little high and you come off, you're in those marbles. It feels like you literally have a flat tire. So you don't want to get up there too much where he's at right now. He's got to scrub it off and go racing.
Yeah, and just like we were talking about a little bit earlier, he's starting to fall back a little bit. He's got the first 2 by him, and Travis McKinney now working underneath him, that third place machine. If he gets caught up there and isn't able to tuck back in line, that's going to give Leggio a perfect chance to get back up there and get into that lucky dog position. But looks like he's going to be able to fall in right behind McKinney right there and in front of Ben Bando. So good break. He's able to get it back down there and, get up off those marbles as you talked about earlier, Kevin.
Yeah, that's it. We're looking at some of the guys here that did not race last week that need a really good showing here. And looking at the 08 running in the 7th position right now, he knows he has to get out of here with a good run. And like I said, don't know why they missed last week's race, but they're here trying to make maximum points on here. Got 9 races to go. Anything can happen, but his car looks pretty good. He's settled in. I think he's just feeling it out right now.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's running fairly even lap times. I mean, there's about a half a second difference from first on back through 20th on their, lap times and such. So as long as everybody is still running that in this early part of the race, Kevin, that's going to allow Darren Benj, who has no traffic in front of him now after he's cleared those 2 lap cars who had the penalties there early in the race. Right now, it's just open racetrack for Darren. So, as long as he drives it in there, doesn't make a mistake, he's going to be able to lead quite a few laps here, it looks like, as he's started to move away from Lewis Bussa a little bit.
Yeah, it's it. Looking back here around the 10th position here, we got the 87 trying to get around a lap car, and he's just losing spots left and right. Done lost like 3 spots, maybe even 4, trying to get around the lap car there. That's the only problem. You get a slower car around you, and basically if they get in your line, you're pretty much screwed trying to to get around a car. I mean, it's just so tight racing here, and it's such a groove-sensitive racetrack. If you have to run in a part of the track that you're not used to running into, you'll fall back real quick.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with running into that, Kevin, like you talked about, just watching Dwayne Hall in that 55 get underneath the 87 because he got stuck up on that outside, after making the pass and such. Hall was able to get underneath him, and now he's battling back, trying to get back into that P11 position there. So, it's according to where you pass that guy out and how you catch him, can also play havoc on these guys who are on the lead lap and fighting for positions and fighting for good finishes, as he's got that 34 of Ben Britton once again right there behind him and behind the 87 also. So got a good little bit of racing going on right there as guys are, moving around a little bit, but no one really, per se, making a aggressive move yet, kind of feeling things out still.
Yeah, I tell you, watching the 15, his brake road is not using really a lot of brake, probably initially a lot, but letting it roll through the center of the corner, not seeing a whole lot of brake road out of that car. So that tells me that he's pretty neutral. He's not tight getting in, having to use a lot of brake. As you know, Doug, you use a lot of brake here, but if you use too much brake, you will heat up the bead on that right front tire. And we run so much camber here, negative camber in that right front tire, you will literally roll that tire off the rim. So you got to be careful how hard you push it here, especially when you're out with a lead like this.
Yeah, especially, like I say, he's got a car that's definitely doing him right now. And talk about the brakes, this is one of those places we talk about brakes all the time, but, you're going to see some guys probably.
We got one around Doug's side of the bucket. We got the 90 car spun around right in the middle of the track. Don't know if we're going to, it looks like we're going to stay green. Looks like he just lost it off that turn 3 like we were talking about, getting loose. Keys to the race, we were talking about tires.
Yeah, and like you said, he's out there. He's been running up on that high position. We talked about him being a little loose there earlier. Been running up there on that high side, allowing all these lead cars to get through. And looking at the replay here, it looks like he came off that high side right there, maybe a little, heated up those right rear tires. And of course,
he spun out again, Doug. He spun out again. Don't know if he's got a flat tire. He's right in the middle of 3 and 4. It looks like. I think we're going to stay green here, but he's definitely having some issues.
Yeah, unfortunate night for Dunford right there, who, really unfortunately didn't get a chance to really get out here and run that car and even really find out what he had under the hood there tonight, Kevin, is, 2 early quick spins like that early in the race, 20 laps in, and, of course he had that penalty for missing qualifying, unfortunately, so, rough way to start things out here tonight for Dunford.
Yeah, and Doug, it seems like when you start onto the 8-ball like that right off the bat, your tendency, we all as race drivers, you want to put that gas down and you just want to go because the leader's coming. But I think he just got caught up in a situation where he thought he had to go, and used that thing up pretty early and got those tires hot. And plus running that high line, getting all that trash and his marbles up there, just took his toll on the car. I hate to see him go out there early like that, but like I said, when you start behind the 8-balls, with qualifying like that and starting back in the field and having to do a black flag, it kind of sets a tone for the night.
Yeah, that it does, Kevin, and it's unfortunate is Dunford's one of the newer nuffers out here. He's kind of trying to get some laps underneath him, learn everybody out there on the track, and get used to this whole system we got running here. So, unfortunate break for him tonight is he's just kind of trying to learn things out here still. So, I'm sure we'll see him back, but unfortunate way to go here tonight for him. But looking back out here, it looks like not a whole lot has changed, while all this was going on. Darren Benz is still out there, but one of the things I have noticed, though, as they're starting to catch some lap traffic here, is coming up on Steve Deo right there in front of him. But Louis Bussa has been able to reel him in here in the last 4 or 5 laps. I don't know if that's, with the fact that they're running into lap traffic, or maybe Benz is just starting to fall off a little bit.
Well, I think right now is your tire pressures have come up. I mean, they're going to raise a little bit more, but you're pretty much at what you got right now. The speeds are going to start going the other way pretty drastically. And we saw that the 4th place car, the 27, the Dale Reynolds there, he made the pass on the 42, and the 42 was up there running with those guys up front. Now he's struggling. He's got the 16 and a whole slew of cars trying to get by him on the backstretch there. So it looks like his car might have gone to the tight as he just goes up and lets those 3 go by, just giving that up. As you know, Doug, here, the worst thing you can do at this track is fight to hold on for that position, because when 2 cars get together like that, you're just inviting the whole pack right up to you.
Yeah, and I was watching there as you were talking, Kevin, that Louis Bussa looked like when he was going under Steve Deo coming up off of two there a little bit earlier. Looks like his car had gotten a little squirrely on him there. The tires might be getting a little hot on that number three machine as he got a little sideways coming up off of two, and as he was trying to make that pass on the lap car Steve Deo, and he has dropped off about 2/10 since we first started watching this stuff up front once again off of Ben's back bumper.
Yeah, and sometimes, the lap cars try, as we see the 41 go high, they'll let the third place car go. But when you come up on a lap car like that, basically, he doesn't know what line you're taking. He's trying to do his best to keep himself competitive and yet get out of your way at the same time. So it might have been one of those deals where basically he made the three car, Louis Bussa there, ride a line that he really wasn't comfortable with and just had to settle back in. Lap traffic, as you know, Doug, it has caused a many of a winner and a loser at this track. So.
Yeah, it's been that way several times, but kind of looking back through the pack here a little bit, I'm looking back here in the P11 position, the number 23 of Frankie Samanto. He's moved up into that 11th place position now. He's been able to move himself around the 87 of Kevin Kelly Jr. there, and is right behind Chris Melton in that 78, who had himself a good run last week. But it looks like Dwayne Hall is one of the guys who's been able to make a few positions and move himself forward as he's bounced up into the 9th place position there. But good battle going on as these guys are nose to tail for 11th, 12th, and 13th here, Kevin.
That's it. Talking about the 78 car there, Chris Melton. What a run last week. Got a little bit of damage on pit road. Definitely hurt his car. But he came out of there with a good finish. And I tell you, he's running right now on P10. And don't know where he started. Don't have my notes right in front of me. But he looks pretty solid running here for another top 10 tonight.
Yeah, he's looking really solid right now. Looks like the car is underneath him. It isn't the fastest car out there on the track, but, kind of watching it get around the track here, it doesn't look like he's loose, doesn't look like he's tight. He's fairly neutral right now. Doesn't look like he's putting a whole lot of wheel into it. So, that could be a good thing as this plays out over the next 60, 70 laps or whatever before we start some green flag pit stops, to see how it plays out over those laps.
And back compared to the leaders, look at the two distinctive different lines of entry going down the corners. The three made up a lot of time there. Looks like the 15 might be getting just a little bit tight right in the center of the corner right there as he pushes up a little bit. And the three looks like he is better in the center and off. He's definitely making up time on him, Doug.
Yeah, he's definitely making up some time. You can visually see that now. And it's about a little over 4/10 of a second right now between the two of them. But one of the things I'm noticing too, Kevin, is looking behind these guys. Another guy who usually runs right up there and usually has fairly similar setup to Louis Bussa, but Ben Bando is still holding on to that number 3 position. But he doesn't seem to be able to make the times that Louis Bussa is getting here tonight, or Darren Benz, as he's fell a little over 2 seconds back, and it's not usual to see Ben Bando this far behind Louis Bussa, even early in a race like this.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I think business is going to pick up right here. We got 3 lap cars in here with the leaders. The 3 is making progress on the 15 as it is. And we were talking a while ago about, trying to get by these lap cars. The 3 could use this to his advantage right here. As you see him arc it out, trying to get a run coming up off the corner. He knows the 15 has got traffic. So, we could have a lead change here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, and real nice job there. Oh, it looks like he's going to make the move right here, Kevin, as he's arcing it down in there and trying to get underneath Benj. Looks like he's going to pull up just enough to keep Benj up in that high line right here, and going to be a drag race down the backstretch here before they even get to some of those lap down cars we were talking about. And they're still side by side, and looks like he should be able to clear him here in this next corner as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think the 15 realized, hey, buddy, you're a little bit faster. And I'm here. We got caution on the speedway, Doug.
Yeah, looks like we got a caution out there. So, wow, Lewis, just as he made that pass, the caution flag comes out. We'll have to kind of take a look around the track here, see what exactly happened with that one. But things were definitely, as you said, Kelly, they were starting to heat up out there. But one of the things I was going to talk about there, just as all that was going on, but guy we don't really talk a whole lot about out here, but that 64 machine of John Lawler. I was noticing when the leaders come up behind him, he's a real gentlemanly racer in the fact that he saw the leaders coming up behind him. He knew they were a lot faster than him, and he'll try his best to make sure to stay out of the way of the leaders. You see him go way up high there to get plenty of respect and get plenty of room for those lead lap cars to get on by him.
And that respect looks like it got him the lucky dog there, Doug.
Yeah, it looks like definitely got the lucky dog, so that'll put him a lap closer to lead lap. As I understand, we have the replay up here. Kind of take a look, see what went on down there. Looks like the 55 of Dwayne Hall may be involved. We were talking about him a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
this
is
is
the
like,
part.
yeah, it looks like Dwayne, as he was coming up out of the corner there, just, come up off that bottom and right up into that 41 machine. Looks like he was trying to, may have just been a miscue or something. Thought he had going to be able to clear him coming up out of, looks like he was just going to be able to clear him coming up out of that corner right there, but didn't have enough room, and they got together in the doors, and Dwayne Hall goes around. And unfortunate night for Dwayne, who was having a real good run there. But looks like it was too much for the Steve Deo cars. He's going to put it behind the wall too. So we got 3 cars already out, Kevin.
And you know what could have happened there? These cars are so aero dependent on the nose right there. You got old tires on. Some of the fuel was burnt off. Kind of might have lost the nose on that a little bit, and it kind of just plowed up the road, the track just a little bit, just enough to get in there. And the rest is history. So we got the leaders on pit road, Doug.
Yeah, it looks like just about everybody came down. Looks like Timmy St. Jean, though, that 83 decided to stay out. Looks like he will probably stay out there and lead him a lap, get those bonus points. I'm sure, we always talk about those bonus points for leading a lap, leading the most laps. Those come in to be a very big thing, throughout the course of the year. And I'm sorry, I said the 83. It was number 4 of Dennis Wright, who we talked about earlier in the pre-race. Didn't make the race last week, so he definitely needs all those points he can get.
That's it. He's gonna go out there and ride around and get that 1 point. You never know. We've had championships here in the VSU Cup decided before by 1 point, as you know, Doug. So 1 point can be the difference between first and second. So you need every point.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there as you were talking, Kelly, looking at Kevin at that mess coming off of pit road there coming off.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they were definitely knotted up coming off of there, boy. I tell you what.
It looked like you were on the LA Expressway there for just a moment coming out of pit road. Wow.
Yeah, that's everybody got through it okay, but man, it's a tight pit road there. Very tight. You got to really rely on your spotter there, your crew chief, to tell you if you're clear up high there. You want to try to get up as high as soon as you can. Get up high because you got all the cars coming out. But you know what? The whole benefactor of that is if you win that pole, man, you don't have to worry about it. You just come straight out of that first pit stall.
Yeah, that's always a great incentive if you're the pole award winner, is being able to have that number 1 pit stall right there where you ain't got to turn the car at all. You just drive straight out. And that can make a huge difference, which I'm kind of surprised to see there that Dennis Wright is staying out here. And, it looks like he's going to stay out and try to run on these old tires. So just like we talked about pre-race, old tires against new, let's see how this works out for Dennis Wright.
Oh, we saw it last week with the 25 with a big, huge mistake. We called that. And unless he gets out of the way quick, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, and here we go. It's green flag racing. They head off into turn 1. Dennis Wright's up on that outside, but looks like Lewis Bussa down on the inside has a real good, wow. Dennis he slid way up there. I don't know if he missed breaking point or what there, but yeah, he way up the track. Lost 4 positions right there. Then settled back into the 5th place position, and he got some hungry hounds already looking to get underneath him already.
And he might lose 5 more by the time he hits the straight.
Yeah, unfortunate. As they 3 wide coming off the corner here, there is not enough room for that. Somebody's got to give at that.
Wow, that's just a mess back there. And this is what I was saying. You got to wonder. You got risk versus reward. Yeah, you get those 1 points, that 1 point for leading. But man, when you stay out there like that, it's a lot of risk. You're basically going to go straight to the back within 5 laps.
Yeah, we're seeing a prime example of that here with Dennis, unfortunately, in that number 4 machine. We got 2 laps here, ran under green so far since that restart. He's fell from 1st to 17th already, and continuing to fall as the 28th. Dennis Jenkins is working underneath him now for the 17th place position.
Yeah, looking back here in the 8th position, got the 87 here. The 03, Bruce Turner, last year's champion, stuck on the outside. Nobody's going to give him some love to let him down. Finally tucks in right there, but he lost 5 spots staying out there, Doug.
Yeah, it's amazing if you get stuck up on that high line like we talked about pre-race. It's amazing how quickly you can get shuffled back into the mix, especially right now with these fresh tires. And you know everybody out there on the track's got that whole mentality right now with these fresh tires. I got to get what I can get while I can get it, because here in about 5 or 10 laps, these tires start fading off, and then 20 laps later, fade off even more. You got to get what you can get right now, Kevin.
Yeah, that's it. And we've ran, I'd say, about maybe 3 or 4 green flag laps looking for the 4 right now to see where he's at. And he has fell way back in the field. So, like, again, if we go on a long green flag run, it looks like he's in P25 right now. You get into a long green flag run here, and you could be in serious trouble, because not only going down a lap to the leader just on the green flag cycle, if you have to go on the pit road, which we obviously know he's going to have to because he didn't come in, you could go another couple laps down. So you're looking at maybe going down 3 laps just for choosing old tires.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Kevin, he has dropped from, restarted right there at the number 1 position, and here we are about 5 laps or so into this run. He's back there in 25th position, the last car left on the lead lap. So, definitely didn't pan out for Dennis staying out there and on these old tires. But, these leaders are setting a real good pace right now, and, unfortunately, it may not take long, the way this is going with these guys. And Louis Bussa up there in front, leading the way with Bando right behind him. It may not take long at all before you might find yourself a couple of laps down. And just like you said earlier too, Kevin, if this thing goes green for about another 45 laps or so, Dennis is going to have to come in and pit under green flag, where the rest of these guys will still only be halfway through their run.
That's it. And Doug, I want you to look who's riding around in P6. We talked about him a while ago. He was running 10th before the caution come out. The 78 car, Chris Melton, having another good run here. Looks like he's got it dialed in. Looks really, really good. He obviously had a very good long run car, because we were halfway through a fuel run there, and he was maintaining that 10th spot. And if his car does anything like it did last Saturday night, he's going to be right there in the top 3 before it's over with.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me a bit to see him up front before this is all over with, here tonight in New Hampshire. As looks like right now he's playing the patient game right there in 6th place, which is a good thing for him to be doing right now, running up there in that top front pack right now while everything's getting stretched out. They're all single file, and then wait until the midway point of this run, see what's still left under the car, and then possibly make some moves at that point.
Yeah, we're looking at, as I look back in the field, in the 8th place car, Travis McKinney, the 42 guy, really, really loose off of turn 2 back there. And his car, I'm telling you, Doug, the 42 just does not look the same as it did at the beginning of the race. You got to wonder what kind of swing they took at that thing under that caution flag, but it definitely doesn't look like the same car that he started out with.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. It looks like it's a little loose getting up off the corners right now. So he may have been trying to compensate for being too tight in the center or getting in and such, and done a little wedge adjustment there. And now it's caused it to get a little too loose up off the corner, as Bruce Turner is moving up behind him in that 03 machine, and also Kyle Lent also moving up there with him. So if he don't get that thing just right here soon, he might be losing a few positions if it stays loose like that off the corner.
And look at this, Doug. We're sitting here looking at like 1 through 10th, and it's a snake. They're a car length apart from each other, and it's like everybody's waiting to pounce on the guy in front of them, and it's just a solid line, really back to like 12th position. These guys aren't giving up nothing. And as we were talking a while ago, Doug, look at this. We're less than 10 laps into this run, maybe right at 10, and the 4 car is ready to go a lap down already.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for that number 4 of Dennis Wright, who stayed out there and took a risky call right there, not coming in for any tires. But like you said, took about between 10 and 15 laps, and yeah, he's going to go a lap down here before very long. And you alluded to there earlier too, Kevin. These guys line back all the way back to 12th, 13th, heck, even 14th and 15th. It looks like in a single file line, all running on that bottom line. And when they get there to Dennis, he's probably going to give up that preferred groove on the inside, and all these cars get underneath him. He's going to be stuck up there in the outside groove with those old tires, and it's going to be a long way for all these cars to get by.
Yeah, you got to wonder if the 4 was maybe banking on an early caution that he could get in and get some tires. But I guarantee he will not pull that move again if he goes a lap down here, which is probably just a matter of time. But look at this battle all the way back through like 14th, 15th spot. These guys aren't giving nothing. And you got to wonder, Doug, you can play that little game here where you get right up on the left quarter panel of that car in front of you, and you can take the air right off that spoiler and try to make that pass. Before long, the patience will run out, and they'll either use the bumper or try to use a little bit of aero in these guys.
Yeah, that's the two big ways to pass right here when everybody's running identical same lines, just like what they are right now. Is like you said, Kevin, using that bumper or getting them up there, getting them arrow loose, getting down into the corner. But, kind of thinking about that another piece too, if you're that guy that's following, which is where these guys are showing a lot of professionalism right now, you've really got to be mindful of those guys in front of you, what their braking points are, because, it's a tendency sometimes for some of these guys, especially if you're running with someone who, you haven't been around for a lot of racing experience with, then, they get down in the corner, they definitely may have a different braking point than what you do, and it's way too easy at that point, as it looks like Kevin Kelly Jr. is slipped up on that outside, and Ben Britton's looking to look underneath him. But going back to what I said, it's too easy to get into that corner and not know the braking point of that guy in front of you and just get right into the back of him too.
Yeah, that's it. It's a driver. You're in there, and you're doing everything on repetition and feel, and your own feel. And all of a sudden, you get a guy in front of you that's either too loose getting in, or he's got to change up his line just a little bit because his car is not doing what he wants. It can kind of throw you out of your rhythm for a couple laps, and this is basically a rhythm racetrack. It's just over and over and over hitting your marks. Like I said, if you drive the racetrack, you're good here, but if you try to race the guy, behind you, in front of you, beside you, or whatever, you'll be in trouble.
Yeah, that's for sure. This is one of those places where, as the old saying goes, you got to race the track. You don't race the other cars around you, because if you get caught up racing the guys around you out here, you will, more times than not get beat. But you got to race the track here. But at the same time, you got to be mindful, like you said, of their braking points, and it sucks. So looking back through the field here, though, I'm kind of looking back. One of the guys we talked about last week at way back here in 22nd position, 22nd and 23rd, Ed Wilson in that number 88 machine. He's out there not making a whole lot of waves right now, kind of quiet. I'm wondering if maybe he missed a setup. I'm not used to seeing Ed this far back, here at New Hampshire. He's had some good races here, so just wondering if they may have missed a setup there. Looks like Dennis Jenkins definitely running a real high line in that 28 right there behind him. I may have just got down in the corner a little too hot, but not used to seeing Ed this far back this early in the race, here at New Hampshire. This is one of his those tracks that he actually likes.
Well, Ed's one of those guys, he's a rhythm driver, and he got to get settled in. Maybe, his car was just a little bit off there, but I cannot imagine the 88 car finishing that far back. I think he's just trying to let everything settle out right now and feeling his car out. And before the end of the race, I guarantee he'll be in top 15, top 12. He'll be there.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me all that much at all. But I'm going to take you back to that 25th position. If we can take a look back there, Kevin. And surprise, surprise, Dennis Wright is still back there in 25th right now in that number 4 machine. But look about 3 seconds behind him. Who's behind him once again?
Yeah, that's it. And I wonder, we got to get somebody on pit road to check out. I wonder if the 4 might have snuck on and got some tires, while it was out there. I'm not sure how many laps down, if he is even a lap down. But either he's let those guys burn their stuff up, or, he come in and snuck in and got tires we wouldn't see him, because I don't think he could hold those guys off for that long with those old tires the way he was dropping.
Yeah, it looks like I'm showing got a note here. Yeah, this is from NASCAR Control. Looks like, Wright is down 1 lap right now. So, being down 1 lap and about to go down a second, I don't think he had a chance to get down there and get those tires, Kevin. So he's about to lose a second lap here. That's unfortunate. That gamble he took earlier, under that first caution is definitely not paying off for him at this point.
That's it. And like I said, I guarantee that mistake will not be made again. As we look, Ed Wilson picks up a spot right there. We were talking about a while ago in the 88. Just a matter of time before he gets up there in that top 15. Not much has changed up front. It's still the number 3 leading us around here. They spread out just a little bit here, but, if we can get that first green flag stop in, that's where we'll find out where the cream's going to come to the top right there.
Yes, it is, and I tell you, we're going to keep an eye on this battle as it's developing here with Dennis Wright and such. But let's go ahead and step out of here, take a quick commercial break, pay some bills, and we'll be back here live at Loudon, New Hampshire Motor Speedway here for tonight's running of the Halls on Post 301, presented by NuffWORLD TV.
Are you looking to start your own professional internet radio station the easy way? Sam Vibe was specifically designed for you. From the makers of Sam Broadcaster, Sam Vibe takes advantage of the cloud to let you focus on what is important: managing and running your station. There are 5 simple steps to get started with Sam Vibe. 1. Sign up for a free account at NuffWORLD.com. No credit card information is required to get a free account. 2. Download and install Sam Vibe. 3. Check your email to retrieve your account information and login details. 4. Run Sam Vibe and enter your username and password. 5. The Sam Vibe Quick Start Wizard shows you the first steps to start your station. Simply upload your music, turn on your station, and tune in. Too easy? Don't worry, Sam Vibe caters for the needs of both novice and professional broadcasters. Sound exciting? Give it a try. Sign up for free now at NuffWORLD.com to experience how broadcasting should be.
Y'all ain't really ready.
And welcome back live to New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in Loudon, New Hampshire for tonight's running of the Halls on Post 301, presented by NuffWORLD TV. And, getting back to the action here, Kevin, not a whole lot changed there up front with that, number 3 of Lewis Bussa leading the way and Ben Bando following right in his tire tracks now. But the interesting thing that I've been watching over this quick commercial break here is Dennis Wright has been able to stay in front of him now, as I didn't expect him to be able to.
Yeah, in that run, he just dropped right to the back. I mean, like a rock within 5 laps. He was all the way back from starting on the front row to being in the 25th position where he is now. Hey, he's making it work. He's either got a really, really good long run setup, or like I said, he snuck on pit road, but we can't get confirmation. That doesn't look like he did sneak on pit road. As we see the 12 really slow on the backstretch there. I think he's just pulling over. He's not having a good race. The 12 car Jerry Hinkle there missed the setup for sure.
Yeah, I'm hearing there's a lot of these guys that are opting to head down pit road already. I'm kind of surprised this early part of the run. I know Travis McKinney in that 42 machine is he's heading down pit road, which I understand he got up against the wall, grazed it there, so he's going to try to get down and get some tires on that machine rather than taking a chance, possibly of having a fender rub and cutting it down. But Jerry Hinkle getting in, the pits there too, which that kind of surprised me because this is way early in the run to be getting down into pit lane.
Yeah, well, it's that old little thing, once you go a lap down, you might as well come in and put some tires on it and see what you got. You can't be any worse. Try to get yourself in a position for that lucky dog or a wave around. The 42, Doug, has just not been right ever since we went back to green after that first caution. And that car just does not look the same. He's riding back in 25th position as we watch him here behind the 24, Chuck Garcia. obviously going to get these spots here. Don't know if they're for position. No, they're not. But it just goes to show you what fresh tires, what happens, with fresh tires versus old tires. And we got a battle here up in P12. These guys are going at the 87 to 23, and they're side by side. 87, he's got to be heating the tires up on that car as it looks like, I thought he was going to give it to him, but he comes right back. 23 gets a little loose on the inside, and they're just going to let the whole pack come right back on him, Doug. But as we look, these guys have these old tires, and we got the 42 coming up before. He'll decide it real quick.
Yeah, it looks like, whoa, Frankie got really loose there in that number 23 coming up off of turn 4 there, and he was able to gather it back in, but golly, that car was completely sideways on him getting in there as McKinney now drops under him, and now Kevin Kelly Jr. is looking to pull the same move on him, trying to get that nose on the inside, possibly get down the inside and put Frankie on that outside. But just like you said, while they were battling that thing out for that number 12 position there side by side, the 24 of Chuck Garcia has he's inched on up in there now and gotten closer to him.
Yeah, it's the trouble here. You get side-by-side racing, and both cars are going to suffer for that. I mean, you might gain a spot out of it, but you're going to just pull the whole pack right back to you. And as we see right now, we got a 24 coming right back into the picture all over the back of the 87. Here comes the 12 car. He's on fresh tires. So he's going to play a factor in here. It could be like a moving pick almost to help the 24 get by the 87 and the 23. But a lot of action going on back here. Pretty much the same up front.
Yeah, it's interesting to see too, Kevin. Right now, there's a lot of different tire strategies out there that we can see on the track right now. You got Dennis Wright, that number 4 machine, who hasn't been down the pit road that I've seen yet. So he's got 75 laps on those tires. And then you got some of these guys who went in during that first caution, who have about 40 laps or so on their tires. And then of course you got guys like Travis McKinney and Jerry Hinkle, and even Dennis Jenkins, who I saw pit there a little bit earlier with brand new fresh rubber on there, got about 5 laps on their cars. So we got all kinds of different pit road strategies going on right now under this lone green flag run.
Yeah, and I think what the 42 was trying to do, trying to force the hand maybe a little bit of the 3, I don't think that's personally going to happen. What he's trying to do is go out there and like we were talking, you have so much fall off in a run, especially as deep as we are right now. And they're trying to force the hand of the leaders a little bit, maybe force them to pit a little early. But, if I'm a driver and I'm out front and I'm running in the top 3, my car's got to feel pretty good to me. It's never going to be perfect. You know how race car drivers are. But if my car is running good and running consistent lap times, I'm going to stay out there and I'm going to run my fuel run. I'm not going to let someone in the middle of the pack dictate, where I take my tires and fuel.
Yeah, that's a definite, because, and you got to wonder sometimes, with that short pit strategy, if you have been out there long enough to make it worth your while, or if it's just, because it's kind of tough here, kind of like Hinkle and McKinney both did, and even Jenkins, they're dropping down into pit lane, getting those tires under green flag. All 3 of those guys lost 2 laps to the leaders, and you got to wonder, is those fresh tires going to be enough to make up 2 laps? At this point of the race, or if it's, maybe too early to start looking into stuff like that. But, a lot of different strategies out there going on right now. And Dennis Wright, the guy who's been out there the longest right now on tires, is still running out there in the 22nd place position in the Lucky Dog. First car, that is 2 laps down. No one's currently 1 lap down. But, he's actually doing pretty good out there on those old tires, as he's running right behind the 3rd place machine right now, Darren Benj, as the top 3 have been able to get around him. But he's been able to really hustle that car around and do well with the strategy he's on. So, it kind of be interesting to see if he can get back on the lead lap, get right back on the right pit cycle strategy with everyone else, just what he might be able to do with that car here tonight.
Yeah, and as we look, the 78 just moved into 4th spot, getting by the 27 of Dale Reynolds there. And as he was last Saturday, he seems to have that thing dialed in on the long run, as we see Dennis Wright there kind of struggling with them old tires. Maybe it's starting to catch up with him a little bit. He's battling out there with a 62. 27, seen him coming, man. Basically just, hey, man, you go ahead. You're faster than me. I'm not going to hold you up, and I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to try to follow you through. So that's 78. Like I said, dialed it again this weekend.
Yeah, Chris Melton is looking, he's really coming along, this being his rookie year out here. He's definitely coming along and doing well. Looks like he's going to mature into a real good racer here within the next year or two here in NuffWorld. Look forward to seeing him back, next season, and it wouldn't surprise me. A whole lot to see him up here in the chase fighting things out next year with this rookie season being gone and done and under his belt and stuff, and a little more time in the seat for next year. Wouldn't surprise me a bit this same time frame next year, see him up here fighting for for one of those chase championships.
That's it. As we were talking about that, the 28 episode, he kind of looped it, spun, made it safe for the pit road. He's putting 4 tires on it. Not the night he was looking for as he comes back on the track.
Yeah, definitely not the night Dennis was looking for here in that 28 machine. He's one of those veterans out here, and we love to see him every week out here, week in and week out. He's a great guy, does a lot of help with the admin over here, and great guy all around to get to know, and has a very infectious personality, I'll say. The man can make you laugh. I don't care who you are.
That's it. As we're sitting here talking about this going through the field, I think now I'm going to have to look at the watch, but I think the 15 might be a tick faster than these 2 guys in front of him. He's making up ground, Doug.
Yeah, he's definitely making up some ground right now as the leaders just get around Joshua Biddle, who's in the 20th place there, putting him a lap down. But, yeah, you can visually see Darren Benge is definitely making up some time there at that number 15 machine and is, starting to work his way back up to that number 1 and number 2 position. So, he's made up, looks like Kevin, about a little over half a second in the last 3 laps. So he's definitely, all of a sudden, that car looks like it is king to life.
Yeah, you got to wonder if his setup is finally coming in the way he likes it, or if the top 2 cars here are falling off. Don't have the lap times in front of me, but I almost want to bet that the top 2 cars are probably falling off just a little bit as we got the 64 going to pit road there. The 15, he's probably just driving his race there and saying, I'm not going to run any faster, I'm not going to run any slower, I'm just going to run it the way it is. A long way to go.
Yeah, and I'm hearing over Skinner's there, it sounds like the 62 of Doc Stout may have looped it around there, but was able to get off the track safely, and no issue there. But no, I'm being told now, hearing it come across, we got a caution out on the speedway. Might have been for that 62.
Yeah, I see the 62 right down there coming into pit road. He must have had an issue down there, either trying to get to pit road or just simply spun out. So we didn't get that green flag run that we were hoping. The 4 car was probably hoping we were going to stay green for a while, but now he's going to be stuck a couple laps down.
Yeah, I'm hearing there was more than 1 car that spun throughout that entire scenario. It looks like the 83, as you can see him back there in the background right there, spun it down in 1 and 2, and then to come right down into 3 and 4. The 62 of Doc Stout spins it around and puts it right up against the wall. So very interesting to say the least. But what I'm seeing out here on the track, Kevin, looks like after about 40 to 45 laps, some of these right rears are starting to get pretty hot.
Yeah, these guys are going to be making adjustments, I guarantee. I've seen a lot of loose race cars on this run. One way is going down on that track bar. Might be a little bit a drastic change. Maybe can fix it with a little bit of air pressure here. But this is probably a very critical stop here as the leaders hit pit road for adjustability right here.
Yeah, one of the interesting things there is Dennis Wright was tucked right up in there, in that number 4. We've been talking about him a lot tonight, but interesting to see that, he's not going to have to make that green flag pit stop here now, so he's going to be able to get in and, get new tires and fuel underneath that car for him. So definitely a good break for that number 4 machine, which I'm sure it wouldn't have been, here we are lap 88, it wouldn't have been much longer before Dennis was going to have to make a green flag pit stop and lose a couple more laps.
That's it. And as we got the leaders on pit road, it was carnage almost last time. Let's see what happens. And man, I don't know if the 78 beat the 15, but if that is, that puts him up to 3rd spot. And he just keeps coming up the positions here. So we'll see if he did beat him to the line.
Yeah, it looks like their score is saying that Melton did beat Benge to the line there. So move that 78 machine up into the P3 position, and 15 of Benge moves back into 4th, and another big mover right there, Danny Gutierrez, slides up into the number 5 position with that number 08 car. So good pickup on pit road for Gutierrez also.
Yeah, and you got to look at the strategy of some of the cars that came in early, the 42, stuff like that. I mean, he's got to be sick to his stomach now. He's going to be trapped a couple laps down. There's no sense in taking a wave around here. If anybody was watching and watch what happened to the 4 on that restart with old tires, you're basically, you're just biding time, riding around back there with old tires. It'd be about 10, 15 laps. You'll be a lap down again. So better off to put 4 tires on it, gas it up, try to, get it driving a little bit better, and just try to race it out and see where you end up.
Yeah, I was looking, Kevin, if you're talking there too, down on pit road at number 42 of Travis McKinney. Looks like he's got some pretty heavy damage there on the right-hand side, the front, right there, just in front of the tire on that machine of his. So he's definitely been in the wall at least once there, and possibly a few more times, a few rubs on it. But yeah, he's definitely got some damage he's dealing with right now. And looked like he had a rather lengthy pit stop there also. So he may have been trying to make some changes, get that car back a little tighter than what we saw this run.
Yeah, and and someone we talked about earlier during the race, and kind of lost track of him. The 16 car was running top 6, top 7, the whole front part of that race. He's all the way back in 19th spot. Not sure what happened to him. He had a bad pit stop or came in the second time around or what, but you definitely don't want to be tracked back there in all that dirty air.
Yeah, that's for sure. You get back in that dirty air, it will definitely change exactly how your car is going to act and how it's going to react with other cars around you. And you if you're back there for the first time, and in that dirty air and stuff, and go barreling off in turn 1, you really a lot of times don't know exactly how that car is going to turn and where it's going to turn going down into 1.
That's it. And on a restart here, you're just trying to get low. You're begging to your spotter, as soon as I can get low, get me low, as we get ready to go green here.
Yeah, that's a definite here as we got the green flag about to fly. It flies right now. Looks like all the leaders, looks like Bando got a good little jump, but Louis Bussa has a whole rear view mirror full of 78 as he gave him a nice shot going down the front stretch there to get him up to speed, and Louis Bussa is able to clear that 33, move up into the high line now. Benjamin
the
back
24
around.
got in the wall hard back there, Doug. Sorry for cutting you off, but man, that's not good for the old aerodynamics right there.
Oh, not at all. And I was just about to say, it looks like Chris Melton, once he was able to get up there in the 78 and give Louis Bussa a good shot heading off into 1. I don't know if he backed off a little early because he thought it might have been too close, but he lost 2 more positions going through 1 right there. So I'm not really sure what happened on that exchange, but, he definitely lost a couple of positions, finds himself back there in the 5th place position now, whereas he restarted 3rd. So not sure what happened going on into 1.
Yeah, as we look back to the field, the 5, the 83, the 87, and the 32 all got into the wall back there. It's like monkey see, monkey do. Got the 51 trapped on the outside. And look at the 88 back there trying to battle back out. But you definitely want to try to get single file. It's right up here we got the 5 car going up underneath. It looks like the 23 of Frankie Samato up here in 10th spot. They're going to swap again. The 23 is going to try to take it on the outside, Doug.
Yeah, these guys are just swapping things around right now as they, still have these fresh tires and stuff, and especially in this big pack that they're in. You got to make what you can, as we referred to earlier, when you can. But looked like Kyle may have got a little bit loose there coming off of 4, but was able to gather it back in. Didn't lose a whole lot of momentum, but that's interesting to see if you're already getting loose at this point of the race, what it might bring for you later on in the race. But it looks like he's good coming up off of 2 and very comfortable. But 3 and 4, he looked a little rough there for a second.
Oh, the 03 is way out of the groove going into turn 3 as he gathers it back up, got up in his marbles and stuff, and that'll ruin your day real quick right there.
Yeah, you get up there in those marbles, as it referred to, just like you said, Kevin. You go up there, and it's a lot of loose stuff up there, and it gets kind of blown up there, from these guys running around on that bottom part of the track. And, you start losing grip, you start losing traction, and sometimes you might be turning left, but the car's going to go where it wants to, regardless of where you turn it. You get up there in that slippery stuff. But, kind of keep an eye on all the stuff that's going on. Everybody has pretty much gotten, single file, just like we said. And, the best thing for these guys right now until these tires completely heat up is here the next couple laps. That's when they should be up to full temperatures and full air pressures. But, pretty much everybody's running single file right now. Pretty content as we're crossing over, coming up on the 100 lap points here.
Yeah, and that 16 car, I'm not sure if he's got a problem or that setup is just going south on him, because he's sitting there riding around in P16. He's only made up 3 spots on the restart, and some of those cars are a little messed up that he started around. So really hasn't past that many cars is in the beginning of the race. He was a really, really good car. Looked really good to the bottom, exit and everything. And now it just looks like the car is just going away on him, falling back as we watch him right here behind the 54. Just insane.
Yeah, but I was looking there as you were talking, Kevin, but, you talked about a couple of minutes ago, Chuck Garcia in that 24 getting up into the wall. I'm starting to wonder just how much damage that he had done on that car, because I seen Kyle Lynch, picked up and got right underneath him and drove by and just took off like it was no big deal here about a lap or so ago. And now he's got Frankie Samato right there on his rear bumper too, looking to make a move now. So as we got Doc Stout way up out of the groove there on that high side, but Chuck seems like that car is definitely falling off the pace a little bit, and these guys are coming up on him really quick as he's been relegated back to that 10th place position now and in danger of losing that, Kevin.
Yeah, and you got to wonder when he smacked the wall like that, what happens is if you're lucky enough, which it looks like he is, he's not lost his spoiler, but what happens is when you hit the wall like that, it'll catch that spoiler and it'll actually bend it back on that corner. And the right outside of these cars, you need all that side bite down, because the air comes up over the back of the cowl of that car and goes across that spoiler. And if you lose any angle in that spoiler back there when you hit, you're basically losing downforce on the rear of the car. So it will mess up your entry. It will mess up your center and your exit of the corner, because you just don't have that confidence in it that it's going to stay planted and not spin out. So you got to wonder. I mean, there are some chassis adjustments that you can make for that. But he seems to be settled in right now and doing the best that he can with it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking, though, Kevin, right there in front of Chuck, who we've been talking about over the last, few laps. But looking at that number 5 cowl of Kyle Lynch, looks like he may have done something to that car in the pits. He definitely wasn't running where he's at right now, under those first, 2 cautions, the first 2 long green flag stops. But he's moved that car up into the 9th position, and after getting around Chuck Garcia to take that 9th position, has made up a lot of time and is inching very close now to the 8th place position of Ben Britton there in the 34. So looks like that car is starting to come alive a little bit and showing some speed.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, going back up to the front, the top 3 cars, as we're a little over 100 laps here into this race, the little patient meter that you got that was pretty down on the part of being patient for the whole race, pretty soon it's going to start going the other way. When you get down to, especially under 100 laps to go here, you're not going to be so nice and let that guy come down in front of you, or cut him some slack. The 15 looks like he's there ready to pounce. I think he's waiting for both of these guys to make a mistake. Car looks a lot better. The 03, we just saw him out of the groove about 6 or 7 laps ago, was going for a ride. Now he's coming back. And of course the 78 right there in 5th spot, I think he's going to make up a couple more spots. He's just one of those guys that's got to run 35, 40 laps to get there.
Kevin, one of the guys I've been kind of keeping an eye on tonight too, but we haven't really talked about this guy tonight, but he's been very, very quiet so far tonight. Maybe that's part of his strategy tonight, but his running back there in the 7th place position, that number 27 of Dale Reynolds. He's been very quiet tonight. We haven't talked a whole lot about him, but I've been watching his lap times, his numbers, and he's been in that top 10 all night tonight. So he's definitely playing the right kind of game right now, staying up there in that top 10 and staying under the radar at the moment till it's time to make his move.
Yeah, he fell back a little bit on that pit stop. I don't know if that was by design, maybe for starting. Well, we've seen guys that come out of here, and if they know they can get the inside line, don't let a car pass them. I just think they had a bad restart here, and they restarted 8th, so he's made up 1 spot. And right behind him, the 34. Pretty much it was a battle all year long between the 16 of Brian Lee and the 34 of Ben Britton here. And it's like we thought, okay, was this for real? Did these guys lead the points just on consistency all year long and just kind of rode around? And here he is up in 8th, flexing a little bit of muscle, saying, hey guys, I just wasn't up top there just to finish the regular season up top there. I'm here to race.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing you mentioned about Ben too, Kevin, is he led the point series for quite a while there during the regular season before we went into the chase. But once we got into the chase, unfortunately, he didn't have that win, to get any of those bonus points that some of these other drivers, such as, Louis Bussa or Ben Britton may have had, and that's kind of relegated him back. I think he was back to like 8th position starting off last week in the first race of the chase, but, those consistent finishes, if, those may pay off in the long run, but I think Ben's got to start looking at, some kind of win now. He's got to start looking to get a win to make up a lot of points on some of these guys like Bussa and Bando.
Yeah, and talk about comers and goers. I mean, the 5 car, he restarted in 11th. So he's made up a couple spots since then. He's, trying to catch the 34 here and get some spots up. And it's a perfect example right here of how competitive it is here. Some of these guys didn't make the chase. So what? They're out here running 110% or more, giving it everything they got every lap, hanging it all out, and they're like, okay, I didn't make the chase. That's what it is, but I'm still here to have fun. And I want a victory over here in the VSU because it's hard to get wins over here. I mean, you got guys that have multiple wins, and there is nobody laying down.
Yeah, and as you were talking there, Kevin, looks like the 32 of Justin Barden there, looks like he got himself up into the wall down there in 3 and 4 and lost a lot of momentum, had to get down off that wall, had to drop a lot of speed to get off that wall. It looked like it was almost like a magnet, like it sucked him up there and, kind of held him. But, he lost quite a bit of momentum and quite a few positions right there as he's relegated back now to the 19th place position. But looks like he might have done some heavy damage on that car on that right-hand side, too.
That's it. And just an example, as we were talking a while ago of lap cars, the 64 basically got trapped, had nowhere to go, and kind of had to try to make some room for those leaders. And pow, we got like 4 or 5 cars right back up on each other again, just from lap traffic. So it just goes to show here, just that one little corner, as you see the 03 all over the back of the 15 coming out of turn 4 there. All it takes is one little slip from the leaders, and the pack is right there. And they're all nose to tail all the way back to like 9th or 10th again, Doug. Oh, the 03, what a save in front of the 78 right there.
Yeah, very nice job of saving that car because he was definitely loose up off of that corner. But, that's one of the things I was going to mention there too, Kevin. You alluded to it was, sometimes you can even try to be the nice guy here and try to get the heck out of the way when those leaders are coming up. And, with this place the way it is, you got a barrier on the inside, you got a barrier on the outside. Sometimes there ain't nowhere to get out of the way.
That's it. And I'll tell you, the 03, I think he's just driven this thing so hard the last 25, 30 laps that right rear's got a little warm. As he's not got a lot of confidence in that thing. The 78 is going to scoot right underneath of there. And right about as clockwork, Doug, we see the 78 coming to the front. Man pulled the slide job. The 03 did not give him a lot of room right there.
No, he definitely did, especially coming up off that corner. He was not giving an inch, that's for sure, but 78 was able to make that pass, and he's going to start looking towards Ben's now in that 3rd place position there right in front of him. So that 78's definitely got a car. It seems like after about 15, 20 laps, starts coming to life, and he can get up there. But, it's one of those things that getting there with Louis Bussa and Ben Bando, it's a big difference between getting there and getting around those two.
Yeah, and what a battle we got back here going 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. These guys, man, I tell you, they're just going at it. The 24, I think that damage is finally catching up with him. Had a hairy moment there with the 16. Let him go as we got 64 here's lap traffic. And it's like we said, Doug, every time we run up on lap traffic, it gets real interesting right here. And I don't think the 24 was too happy about the way the 16 tried to get him around him there. But right now he's got just a little bit better cars. The 54 all over the back of the 24 right there.
Yeah, and amongst all that going on, you got that lap down car of John Lawler up there on that 64 going on their outside. So not a whole lot of room for them to, make any errors there, or they will be up into another car. So, but definitely a lot as the 54 is still underneath Chuck Garcia, and they're battling coming off of turn 2 down that backstretch. Chuck is, that car might be damaged, but he's definitely not giving any ground here. He's definitely trying to hold on to every position he possibly can. As Brian Lee looks like he's going to shoot to the inside of Kevin Kelly Jr., trying to take away that number 12 position right there in front of these guys. So, we got Lee and Kelly Jr. up there side by side now, heading down the backstretch.
That's it, and it looks like the 54 kind of burned his stuff up just a little bit, messing with the 24. Is, you know, they're going to lay back and try to cool those tires up. We got the 4 car out there swinging wide, trying to get some momentum going down the exit of 4. And man, I tell you, you look at the 54, he's just not going to let this go as he gets right up on the back of the 24. And this is a good battle back here.
Yeah, and with all of this going on, Kevin, I'm starting to wonder what's going on with that number 12 car, Jerry Hinkle, as he's made another unscheduled pit stop. You know, we've only been out here, what, about maybe 20, 25 laps or so on these tires and such. So I wouldn't think that would be, you know, a scheduled pit stop for Hinkle to get in and get some tires. So I think there's definitely something wrong with the setup on that number 12 car tonight.
Yeah, and as we see the 24 sneaking back up on the 1687, we're battling side by side for like 2 or 3 laps there, and it allowed everybody to close right back up. They finally settled that deal. The 16 takes the 12th position. The 87 moves back to the 13th. And saw the 24 hit the wall again back there a couple of laps. He's not doing the right side of that car any justice, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like he's definitely got a car that has went to the tight side during this run. Looks like he was fairly well neutral, wasn't real happy, you know, during the first 100 laps or so of this race. Went in there, got some work done on that car, and looks like it went south on him from that point, as he's been in the wall a couple of times since, you know, this last round of pit stops. So, you know, definitely Chuck he's got his hands full with that car, looks like, tonight, and also has his hands full out the back window and the front window at the same time too, with all that going on.
That's it. And back up front in the 4th position, got the 78 there, getting ready to battle the 15th 15th place car. The 15 is a little bit better getting off the corner. The 78 is a little bit better getting in. Sooner or later, those guys are going to meet in right in the middle of the corner, and it's going to be a battle. And before long, I think in 2 or 3 laps, the 78 is going to get him. Really good getting into the corner. Sacrificing a little bit getting off the 15, just a scotch better than he is. But that 78 car is looking good. We hate to say it, but you got to give props to the kid. You know, he ran good last weekend. He's not in the chase. He's a rookie over here, and he's giving them heck right now.
Yeah, it was, you were talking about that. I noticed right there behind him too. Looks like that 03 of Bruce Turner is still loose getting up off the turn 2. So it might be something he's going to have to look at. You know, tightening that car up. You know, in his next set of pit stops when they get to him. But you know, I'm noticing him coming off of 2. Seems like the rear end of that car likes to wiggle a lot, almost every lap. As you know, he's starting to get a rear view mirror full of Danny Gutierrez in that 08 machine too, who's sitting back there currently in the 6th place position. But looks like Daddy's going to make the move around the inside on him, take over that P5 position, and he may even bring Dale Reynolds along with him and move him up to 6th, it looks like. But we'll have to see here as they get down into turn 1.
That's the thing. Once you give one up, you're gonna, you know, unless you're in a good shape, you're gonna lose a couple spots. It's like he's gonna settle in here. Oh, he's gonna battle the 27. The 27, wow, just takes that spot on the backstretch. You gotta wonder if you let off and let him in, or that was just a power move. But you know, as you know, Doug, racers at the end of a race, they don't forget stuff like that. They're not so nice the next time that happens.
Yeah, that's a definite. As looks like that 34 is going to try to follow suit with the last 2 cars that went through there with Gutierrez and Dale Reynolds, and he's going to try to, you know, take advantage of that inside being opened up like that, and does, and moves around, you know, that 03 of Bruce Turner, move himself up into 7th position. So chalk another one up there for Ben Britton. So Turner's car definitely not going in the direction he needs to be going right now at this point in the race.
No, and you know, I'm going back through the field here, and I'm looking back at 15th, 16th, and you got the 4 car involved there too. Dwayne Hall had that spin at the beginning of the race, and I don't think his car has ever really recovered. Don't know how much damage he took with that one caution that he was involved with. He's all over the 54 here trying to make up some spots. Everybody knows the 55 car. Well, I thought the 54 was going to let him go, but maybe he just got to let him. Nope, he is going to let him go. He's going to let both of them go. So figures, hey, you're faster than me. I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to lose any more spots. But again, back to the 55 car, he's really, really good at these kind of tracks. Actually really good at a lot of tracks. So really surprised to see him run so far back in the field, but I think that damage might have something to play on that.
Yeah, very well might, but you're definitely making a good showing out of, making the best out of what could have been a bad night. That's for sure. Moving back up through the field a little bit here is, you know, he's doing what he can with that car, and got that holes on post logo right there on the side of it. There, is his wife Angela is owner of holes on post, the accounting service over there, and he's running that sponsorship here tonight, and also sponsoring the race tonight. So. But it looks like that number 4 of Dennis Wright got way up into the corner right there. I don't know if he saw that smoke in front of him from a 55 of Hog, and smoked the tires a little bit getting in, and thought maybe something was about to happen. Moved up on that high side and lost a lot of ground to Dwayne Hall right there.
Well, I want to tell you where there is smoke, and that might be firing a little bit, is that's position 7 and P8, man. The 03 and the 34 are just going at it lap after lap. The 34 tries to get down inside the 03. And the 03 just takes that high line and tries to power off the corner. And basically, it's a drag race almost every time coming out of the corners. We see right there, it gets tight. That's only going to last just a little bit. Well, we got a caution out on the speedway. Got the 42 around, and his night just got worse.
Yeah, it looks like he had a little bit of trouble there, Kevin, getting off of turn 4 and just kind of looped that thing around and backed it right into the inside retaining wall there. So, let's go ahead and reset this field and stack them all back up once again, and let the carnage begin, so to speak, because, we've seen it there. As soon as, you get everybody stacked back up together there, once again, these guys tend to try to fight for every little inch of ground on those first few laps, and that makes it real interesting. So we'll get ready to do that again here in just a second.
Yeah, and that 42 was probably in my top 3, top 4 chances of winning this race, and he has just not had a good car all night long. Don't know what happened. I know he got into some kind of incident earlier, but he's just not had a good race all night long, and like I said, it just got longer for him.
Yeah, and I tell you, the benefactor out of all that is that number 76 machine of Joshua Biddle, who's going to be he'll be the lucky dog here, so he's going to be able to get one of those laps back of his, which he was running right behind the 42 right there. And, real interesting to have that happen right in front of you while you're running into the, running into lucky dog position. But that'll put Biddle right back in. But looks like the 62 got into that 42 of Travis McKinney there after he had already stopped. They come off of 4, and they were battling too wide, and Doc Stout just got right into the rear end of that 42 machine after he'd already stopped on the inside wall, and, kind of added insult to injury, so to speak.
Yeah, as we hit the pit road here, it's a hard, when you come out of these corners, your spotter's got to be on the ball. We've seen, a few years ago, Doug, in NASCAR, this track actually stopped the racing back to the caution because of the blind spots here. Dale Jarrett was trapped in the middle of the track, and it was a scary spot. It was actually at that race, and that basically did stop racing back to the cautions after that, and applaud NASCAR for that, because that's real dangerous. You got a guy sitting there, and we just proved it there. It's a blind spot, you really can't see.
Yeah, that it is, and as we look at here is, all this is going on. Looks like Lewis Bussell is going to beat Bench, to that line there coming off the pit road, so Lewis Bussell is going to regain the lead, but Darren Bench is going to come out second. And Chris Melton is going to move that 78 machine up. He's going to move up into the 3rd position, so he's able to get around Bando and pick up the 3rd place position there, with Bando coming off 4th, and Dale Reynolds making up a couple positions too, will come off 5th. So definitely some guys in and off, getting on and off of pit road, picking up a few spots, losing a few spots. So very interesting to see how pit road mixes things up here, so to speak.
Yeah, and the 15 car has not been able to restart on the front row since the beginning of the race, so I got to think, we'll see where the 3 car is. I got to think he's going to take the bottom, but the 15 is going to give him heck on the outside there. He's not been out in the lead since like the first 35, 40 laps of this race, so he's got it in his front windshield there, sees the opening, and wouldn't surprise me. He's got nothing to lose here. He is a chaser, but hey, he's up front, and he's going to drive it hard down to turn 1.
Yeah, you talk about chasers. I'll tell you another one too. Was looking at the telemetry there to come across a moment ago, but a big loser, unfortunately, there on pit road. I hate to say it that way, but guy lost a lot of positions at number 16 of Brian Lee loses 4 positions on pit road. So not sure what happened with his crew there on pit road, but very lengthy stop to lose 4 positions.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about the chase, Doug. We talked about it last week. We talked about falling back into the chase. We talked about guys with momentum. What I mean by falling back is you're not really having the finishes that you really want to have that momentum going into the chase. And one car again this week that I'm going to spotlight, and hate to spotlight you like that, buddy, but the 32 car of Justin Barden ran up there in the top 3 or so of points all year long, and had a bad race last weekend. And man, he is struggling again, running in the 16th spot. Looks like he's lost the handle on this car. You know, I've not really watched him too much during the race, but we haven't talked about him a whole lot the last 2 weeks, and he really needs a good race to try to get himself back into this chase, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely was watching there a little bit earlier. It looks like he's been kind of tight out here tonight as we're getting ready to come back to the green flag here. But Travis McKinney looks like he's had that thing hauled back behind the wall there and into the garage here. It's going to be a little too much damage for him tonight as they take the green flag now and head off down into crossing the start-finish line there. We got a drag race here so far. Melton is giving a good push to the 3 of Lewis Bussa. They head off into 1, but Darren Benj up on the high side is fighting strong right now. But
yes,
looks like the 3 is going to clear him just by a matter of inches right there coming off of turn 2.
Well, like we said, Doug, wow, I thought he almost got in the back of the 3 there. That was close. If this would have been 10 to go, you might have had a different story there with the 15 cutting the 3, a little bit of slack. He's not done. He's going to drive it hard, Doug, going into turn 1, trying to take the lead.
Yeah, looks like they may have had a little bit of contact there in the front stretch, too, as Lewis moved up just a little bit. Looks like the 15, and he's got a run coming off the corner right here off the 2. He's going to pull right up on the back bumper, shoot down to the inside. He's going to try to stick it down on the inside. Looks like you're going into 3 and 4. Yeah, looks like he tried to stick it in there, but wasn't able to get up. And looks like Benj has keyed that car in. He's getting a heck of a run coming up off the corners there. And, you know, with Lewis down on the inside, he just doesn't have anything he can do with it, so to speak. But Buss has kind of gotten away from him here. Let's see if he can pull some distance on him, you know, coming up out of this corner here and try to get back to the bumper. That number 3 machine up there leading the way.
Wow, and back in the field, looking back at the 08, the 5 and the 16 all got together right there in that corner. Man, they're 3 wide back here trying to settle this mess out. Like I said, the first 4 or 5 laps here at New Hampshire, the new tires, you're trying to get every position that you can get, and those boys almost wadded it up back there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, kind of watching the action up here in the front, number 1, number 2, Darren Benj is getting such a run up off the corners and down those back stretch, but he just can't seem to get up beside Lewis Bussa to make it stick, and he's trying to stick that nose in there, you know, to try to get underneath him there going into the corners, but Lewis keeps cutting right down in that corner, you know, getting to the bottom and kind of chopping, I wouldn't say chopping the nose off, but he's definitely causing Dennis to check up, or Darren, excuse me, to check up quite a bit and loses all his momentum right there, so he has to back up and take another run at it. But it's a good chess match going on for this number 1, number 2 as Darren pulls out once again to try to make that inside line work.
Yeah, what it looks like is, and he's going to do the slide job on him right here. What he was doing there the whole time, Doug, is he was backing that corner up on both ends, and he was diming in that corner so he could get back to the gas quicker than the 3 car. That's why he was getting such a run on him on the front stretch there. But Darren has got to make, the Darren Benj in the 15 here, he just took the lead. He has got to make maximum effort right here to get away. As everybody knows, these cars with clean air, man, you can just set sail. As he's pulled away just a little bit here right now. But the newness is gone off those tires for sure, especially up in the top 3, top 4. If he can get these guys battling behind him, he can settle in and maybe throttle back on this car a little bit right now, but it looks like he is hammered down.
Yeah, and I'm looking right there behind him, you know, that 2nd, 3rd, 4th place battle. Those are all pretty much nose to tail there with Lewis Bussa, Ben Bando, and Chris Melton now running in 4th, you know, as these guys looks like they're shaping up to start having themselves a battle, but kind of surprised too, 141 laps into this race now tonight. And, you know, we haven't seen Ben Bando on the point yet tonight. That's kind of a surprise to me personally, not seeing that young man up there in the number 33 leading the lap yet. But, you know, we've had 3 leaders so far tonight, Kevin, and those 3 will be Lewis Bussa And then Darren Bench, and of course we talked about a long time ago, Dennis Wright up there who led those few laps, with on the old tires and such. So, which was a gamble that didn't pay off for him. But it's kind of interesting to see if maybe Bando's maybe having just a couple little issues here with this car that he isn't able to get up and get around that number 3 of Lewis Bussell.
Well, I think, when the 15 and the 3 were battling just a little bit, the 3 might have a little bit of damage, but I don't think it's going to be to the point where it's going to hurt this car. Yes, so here we got a spin. We got a spin somewhere on the backstretch. Looks like the 87's involved in that.
Oh, I hate to hear that happen. Looks like we get a yellow flag out for that also, Kevin. So tough break tonight for the 87 if he was involved. One of currently running third in the points. That's definitely a bad break for him tonight, and definitely something he did not want to see for sure.
Yeah,
looks like he's.
Yeah, what I heard on the radio is he might not be too happy with the 32. He said something about the 32 might have got into him and brought him around. So we'll have to look at the replay for sure.
Yeah, and we had just talked about that 32, not having the chase run he was looking forward to have. But, definitely going to be a good break for that number 4 of Dennis Wright, who we just alluded to, is he will get the lucky dog this time. So he's going to get one of those 2 laps back. So he's going to be within a lap here of getting back on the lead lap as we're looking at the replay here. It looks like the 87 getting down in the corner, just the 32 drove it in there and gave him a good tap on the bumper and sent him right around. So, it looks like Martin and that 32 just misjudged where the braking point for that 87 was going to be and drove it right in there, gave him a good tap in the rear, and around he went.
Yeah, you got to wonder how much damage the 87's got. And we're right about at that point coming to halfway there, Doug, where the old patience kind of like goes out the window. So every restart now is going to be something else for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. And as the laps wind down, Kevin, it's just going to get that much worse on these restarts. As kind of watching here going down pit road, the 87 and the 76 almost came together right there as the 76 darted left to come down into his pit stall there of Josh Biddle. So
we got some strategy here, Doug. We got some strategy here. Man, oh man, oh man. There's no way I would think some of these cars took 4 tires. They must have taken 2, and we saw what happened at the beginning of the race, and I just don't know if that was the right decision or not.
Yeah, a few interesting calls here. Another one I was getting ready to allude to there, Kevin, is that 27 of Dale Reynolds out there showing the way right now. Hasn't been, well, he's sneaking down pit road now. He looks like he stayed out, led that one lap, got that bonus point that he definitely is going to need after missing last week's race. So looks like Dale Reynolds stayed out there, but wasn't about to take the same gamble that Dennis Wright did earlier tonight.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure about that strategy right there. Yeah, you want to get that point. But you got to look at how many cars are on the lead lap, and you know how restarts here, and you put yourself back, in the pack like that, and you could definitely lose some spots by getting into someone else's mess. I'm not sure about the call on the 08 and the 16 either. They had to have taken 2 tires. There's no way they got 4 tires. And you got 2 cars on the front row starting out with left side tires that have a few laps on them. I'm just not sure about that call.
Yeah, that's it's going to be interesting. Yeah, as we're looking at the replay here, definitely looks like that 16 for sure. You called it right there, Kevin. As he took 2 tires there, it looks like left side. So going to be interesting to say the least to see how that pans out for that number 16 and Brian Lee. When once we get to going a few laps here, I mean, it might still hold up, being as we only ran about 30 laps or so, I think there, maybe 40 on those tires. So it might be interesting to see how this strategy pays off for those guys.
Yeah, you got the front 2 cars in 1 and 2 on 2 tires. You've got the 15 car of Darren Bench in 3rd with 4. You got the 3 car of Lewis Bussa with 4, 78 with 4, Chris Melton, 30. Everybody behind him has 4 tires. I can almost guarantee you, unless cooler heads prevail, we will be 3, maybe even 4 wide going into 1, because those tires are just not going to match up against those 4. We saw what happened to the 4 car the last time. In a half a lap, he went all the way back to 5th. In 1 lap, he went back to 10th. So you got 2 cars up on the front doing that now. It's going to be mayhem on this restart.
Yeah, the unfortunate part, when Dennis Wright did it, of course, luckily enough, he was on that high side. Cars were able to get under him. But now, just like you said, Kevin, they're going to be side by side with those two tires, and that's going to, clog up both lanes, not only the inside but the outside. As we see Dennis Wright now going by, taking his lucky dog, and we'll have Jury Hinkle and looks like Doc Stout also taking the waiver round. So put a couple of more cars up on the lead lap right there. So. As we come down to this restart, it's definitely going to get interesting going into turn one, I think.
Yeah, and talk about comers and goings. We talked about him a while ago. The 88 car finds himself up there in 16th spot, Doug. He's working his way up.
Yeah, Ed may have been playing a strategy game here, kind of staying back there, staying away from some other cars, trying to kind of take care of his things as he's been lately stuck in some other people's messes, and they've been trying to stay away from that tonight. But as we coming out of turn 4 here, getting ready to come to the green flag, Gutierrez and Brian Lee on that front row, so it's going to get interesting going down into one. You got right there behind them, you got Darren Benj and Louis Bussa as they get the green flag and head off down the cross stretch here. It looks like they're pretty much even with the 16 and the 08, but it looks like the 08 really got into the corner, had to check up a lot. Benj about got into his rear, and as they come off of turn 2 here, they're still side by side for that number 1 position. So you can see the lines already starting to back up a little bit, Kevin.
Yeah, that's it. And this is going to be interesting right here coming out of turn 4 here as the 15 gets a little bit of run on the 3. They're door to door, and they're going to have a better run going down into turn 1. This is going to be real interesting right here with the 08 and the 16 up front.
Yeah, I think this is the first time tonight, Kevin, we've been able to see, a full lap of, side by side, all three groups back. And these guys behind the 08 and the 16 are trying to figure out exactly what moves to make to, kind of get around these guys now as they kind of stack things up there. As the 15 is looking inside the the 16, of Brian Lee here coming up off of corner of turn 4. So Gutierrez will this lap as we come back to the strike. But I don't think it's going to be too many more laps till we see that 15 just and the 3 and the 33, the 78, and the whole line just head on around those guys.
Yeah, and the biggest thing you don't want to do if you're the 15 is overdrive your car right now and burn your brand new set of tires up. You know you've got an advantage on those guys. Don't fall back. You just need to hit your marks and drive off as we see him right there pull away from the 16. He'll catch the 08, but you don't want to overdrive your car and just basically equal out your tires to the guy you're trying to chase down.
Yeah, I was noticing there, Kevin, coming up off the corner there was the 3 car of Louis Bussa down on the inside of the 16. Looks like he gets really tight when he's down there on the inside and got a car to his outside. Maybe he had something to do with that damage when he got into the wall there a little bit earlier, unfortunately. As I'm hearing the 54 car may have spun himself around there too out on the track, but looks like we're staying green at this point.
Yeah, 54 has not had the car that he's wanted to have all night. He's been mid-pack all night long. Still hammering away. As we look at the 15 now, those tires are really starting to come in. Now it gets a little loose off the corner. Again, you don't want to get to that point to where you want to overdrive your car. You know you have a better situation with your 4 tires versus his 2. It's just a matter of time. This is where, Doug, we talked at the beginning, keys of the race. You have to race the racetrack here and not the guy around you.
Yeah, that's the key right there right now. Racing the racetrack, not the guy around you. But at the same time, if you're Darren Benj, you got that car in front of you knowing that's the number 1 position. But you look right there in that rear view mirror, and you got that, whole rear view full of that green and yellow car of Louis Bussa. At the same time, you got to be patient and run your race, but at the same time, you got to be a little bit aggressive because you got to get away from that car that's right behind you, too, at the same time.
Yeah, and as we look, the 3 car drove it really deep down in the turn right there. It made up about 3 or 4 car lengths on the 15. And this is where I was saying that patient meter is going to go just a little bit. The 15 knows he's faster than the guy in front of him. So he's probably like, dude, you need to, cut me some slack. And as we say that, wow, oh man, that tight racing right there between the 15 and the 08. That patience meter is going to go the other way soon, Doug.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Darren is looking to make a move down on the inside of the 08 there, but the 08 was able to kind of get down on that bottom line, kind of halt the momentum, so to speak, and they fell back in line as they come through 1 and 2 here. Same exact scenario, 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there together, same positions, nothing changed, but definitely slowed down the momentum of Darren Bench, that 15 machine with that move, and now he's going to have to spend another lap or so building it back up and getting ready to try to make the pass once again.
That's it, and you got to give kudos to the 08 because he's the first car we've seen that's been able to run out there, even though it is early in this run right here. It's been able to maintain spots. We saw the 4 before just basically go right straight to the back. But what he's doing, Doug, is he's making these guys behind him burn their tires up a little bit, and he's trying to equal out the advantage. He's like, okay, you guys have 4 tires. I got 2 tires, but guess what? I'm not going to give this up, and I'm going to make you burn your 4s up. So it's going to be just about the way that my 2 tires are, at least for a little bit, as we look at the 15 making a dive in turn 1.
Yeah, I was just about to say, too, as long as Gutierrez is able to hold that bottom like he has been able to. Oh, looks like the 15 and the 08 just about got together right there coming up off of turn 2. But I was going to say, if he can, the 08 of Gutierrez could, maintain that inside line, that's going to force those guys to have to, make a move up on the high side, which is then going to be a tricky little move for them to have to make, because we got some pretty good action going on back here between the 16 of Brian Lee and Ben Bando, as Lee just got around Bando, takes over that number 3 position, settles in. They got back in the single file line now as Louis Bussa also clears Gutierrez, moves Gutierrez back to 3rd place position.
Yeah, the 15, he was sitting there going, please, the 08, race to 3 as hard as you raced me for about 10 laps so I can get away, but it didn't happen. Them tires on the 08 are going to start showing. He'll start losing probably 2 or 3 tenths a lap to these cars in the top 10. He's running in 3rd right now, but like I said, it'll get to a point where it'll equal out a little bit. And I think his strategy here was, okay, I've been up around 3rd, maybe 4th, 5th a few times. After that, I've been kind of like 7th, 8th. Let's just roll the dice here and either see if I can get a quick caution or the fall off is not that bad and I can, stay around mid-pack and set myself up for the end. So you gotta give him kudos for hanging where he's at.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job out there with that 08. With only taking 2 tires, as Ben's has been able to get away a little bit there from Louis Bussa, and going down into 3, it looks like Brian Lee just kind of jumped out of the throttle a little bit earlier there. The 33 of Ben Bando and the 78 of Chris Melton were both able to get around him on the outside there, so push Brian Lee back up into that 6th place position now as Bando moves back into 4th and Melton back up to 5th. But Gutierrez is definitely, making it work right now with that 2-tire stop out there, still running in 3rd place position. So, according to how long this green flag run on this one goes, it may pay off in the end for that 08.
Well, you're looking at a 16 who was on that same strategy with 2 tires. He's sitting back in 6th, and we've got the 08 setting up in 3, Danny Gutierrez, and they're pretty much maintaining. I mean, I think, at this point, they were either banking on a caution or just trying to maintain, because we saw the 16 fall back like 11th, 12th, 13th there in that last run. Sometimes when you throw right side tires on these cars, it will loosen them up. And then once the tires equalize up in pressure and stuff, then it'll pretty much snug up pretty good for you. So maybe they were just a tick off, wanted to take a chance and roll the dice and come out here and run some laps. But as we saw with the 04 earlier, just did not work for him. But he took no tires. So that's maybe the difference, that the 04 took nothing. And we've seen what happened there. These guys took 2. So you can bet your butt there, Doug, that some of these guys on pit road saw these guys take 2 and seen what happened here.
Yeah, that's definitely, I'm sure quite a few of them have took notice of what did happen there. We've seen, earlier in the race that Dennis Wright took none and fell like a rock, so to speak. But these guys took 2 tires and have been able to maintain fairly well right there, So if you're looking late in the race, to possibly just, pick up some quick track position there, make up about 5 or 10 spots possibly real quick like, and it might pan off for you in the end. But I'm looking back here a little further back, Kevin, at the P18, 18th place position. and 17th with Joshua Biddle in that number 76 and Kevin Kelly Jr. in that 87. Got a nice little battle going on. Been going on here for about 2-3 laps for that 17th place position as Biddle has just kind of dropped in line back behind Kevin Kelly Jr. as we go to broadcast. But, you know, he got the lucky dog there a little bit earlier, got him back up on a lead lap, and he's trying to make something out of this tonight. Hasn't had the car tonight that he, you know, expected to have here, but has been doing a pretty good job with it as he pulls right up on the bumper of Kevin Kelly Jr. now coming off a fourth.
Yeah, and here now the 87 pits, they had massive damage on that one wreck there with the 32. They're basically fighting tight end, loose off, and it's on different ends of the track, so that's kind of a hard one to fix there. You might just have to fix one or the other, but definitely got some aero damage on there, and he's lost about 5/10, so he's just trying to hang on and get every point that he can.
Yeah, that's one of the things too, Kevin, is you know, as I'm driving around, I mean, I've been out there on the track quite a few times myself, you know, and especially in the Thursday Night Pure Sim series. And Joshua Biddle, he's one of the regulars, been around here for quite some time. And that new paint scheme he's come with this year with the Scrumptious Corporation, you know, that's one of the interesting ones that every time he gets behind me and I'm looking in the rearview mirror, seeing that that nice little ice cream sundae that he normally runs on the front of that car, you know, I kind of get hungry, but he's running that special memory, special paint scheme there tonight, you know, in memory of Roland Nichols. So, you know, he's one of those guys, been around here for quite some time, and you know, like I said, every time he gets behind me in that one car, he's got the Scrumptious, I start getting hungry with that ice cream sundae on the front.
That's for sure. And you know, going back to P12, 11, 12, and 13th, is they're swapping right there. The 27 car restarted, I believe, 20th on that last restart. And he's made it all the way back up to 12th. So he's definitely got a good piece. All the fenders look good on it, and I don't see any marks on it at all. He's trying to march back up to the front. So you got to wonder if he's watching here saying, hey, these guys were able to maintain pretty much where they were. If I can go out here and run a few laps and whatever, and maybe catch an early caution, maybe I'll try two and then set it up for 4 at the end. But he's had a nice comeback here.
Yeah, and Dale, one of those, like we talked about there a little bit earlier, that last caution, you know, he elected to stay out there and try to lead that one lap, you know, so he got himself mired back there in traffic pretty far in the starting position. But he's one of those guys I alluded to earlier tonight that had been fairly quiet throughout the night, you know, hadn't made a whole lot of waves and such, but have been hanging out there in about the top 10, biggest most of the night as they come around. Looks like the 64, John Lawler there, and you know, move on by with no problems. But Dale's definitely got a pretty decent car under him tonight, so that might be a strategy he looks at later, Kevin, is trying to drop those 2 tires, you know, and getting out and getting himself into a good position.
Yeah, and looking at the 08, speaking of comers and goers, the 83, Timmy St. Jean cracked the top 10. He's in there. The 08 of Danny Gutierrez, he has lost about 4 spots in the last lap. So those 2 tires are definitely telling the story on that. 16 car, he's been holding his own right up there in 6th spot. That's right about where he's been. The 83 is looking all over him, though. But, you know, it's just a matter of time before those 2 tires just can't match up with those 4. And you got to wonder how deep we go into a run here. Is he going to force, the leader's going to force the 08 to pit early, or is he just going to ride this thing out?
Yeah, he definitely, the 16 is definitely getting a better run out of that 2-tire stop than, you know, what we're seeing the 08 to get right now. But, you know, that could be attributed, like you said, Kevin, to a lot of factors also. You know, how hard was he running it during that first set, you know, on those right sides, or how hard did he run it right after that caution? But one of the things I'm starting to see out here is I'm kind of watching some onboard telemetry and stuff with that number 15 of Darren Binge. You know, I guess it's definitely must be getting about that time of the race, because I'm noticing there's about 3 or 4 different cars out there on the track now, just like we talked about earlier in the pre-race, that are dropping into 3rd gear now in those corners.
Yeah, and as we're looking right now, you got the 27 just got another spot moving up to 11th, so he's making his march, and nothing's changed up front. 15 has still got a pretty good lead over the 3 and the 33. So we're pretty much settled in right now, and like I said, we're just going to keep an eye on the 16 and the 08 and see how far they drop on these 2 tires.
Yeah, that's going to be the story to kind of watch here, and I'm sure it won't be just us watching, Kelly. It'll be a lot of those crew chiefs down there in the pits, seeing how this pans out for those guys, because it could be if this thing comes down close to the end, it could be something to try. But let's step away real quick, Kevin, for a quick commercial break here from Loudon, New Hampshire, and the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for tonight's presentation of Halls on Post 301. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these quick commercial break.
Link engaged.
Welcome to TeamSpeak, advanced voice communication software for any platform. TeamSpeak allows groups of people to communicate and share information with anyone via the internet or through private networks. Using your Windows, Mac or Linux-based computer, all you need is a headset with microphone, and in minutes you can be chatting with others in real time using our crystal clear voice technology. As a pioneer in the industry, TeamSpeak has become one of the most recognized brands in online gaming and voice-over IP solutions. TeamSpeak features include a customizable toolbar, a clickable server icon and support for channel icons, custom graphics and BB code-enabled info panes, detailed user info and support for uploading avatars, firewall-friendly file transfer, tabbed public and private text chat with logging, custom skins, themes and sound packs, and much more.
I'm someone that's more than just a casual gamer. It's important to me to have fast, organized, quality voice comms. With TeamSpeak, I'm able to quickly customize user permissions and email a privilege key to an offline user. So the next time they log into the server, they'll be set up exactly how I want them to be. TeamSpeak also lets us do file transfers, assign player rank, insignia, upload avatars, or create custom skins. For me, there's no better choice out there than TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak is free to use for non-commercial entities. Low-cost professional hosting is also available through our global network of authorized TeamSpeak host providers. For online gaming titles, social networks, government, military, or simulator projects, TeamSpeak also offers a software development kit. The TeamSpeak SDK allows developers to integrate our technology directly into their existing product or service. So no matter which game you're playing, or with whom you wish to communicate, TeamSpeak has you covered. TeamSpeak. Flexible, powerful, crystal clear voice communication on any platform.
All right, welcome back to the Halls on Post 301. Got my partner here, Douglas Sargent. Doug, man, we stepped away, got the replay here on the screen. Man, what a mess between the 55 and the 24 here.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of action going on there between the two of them, Kevin, and they kind of, brought out the next caution here. So I'll tell you, some of the guys who had been loving that little mess right there, though, was those two guys we were talking about right before we went to break there with Gutierrez and the 16 of Brian Lee. Got a good break there with those guys spinning out. So we're able to get back out into the pits, get some tires on those cars. As like you said before we went to break, that 08 of Gutierrez with two tires, you could definitely tell a difference on, how that car was starting to fall back.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we hate to lead in with this as our 55 car, Dwayne Hall, Hall's on Post. Man, what a great sponsor for this race, and a great prize that they're giving away at the end of it, Doug.
Yeah, definitely. Tonight's sponsor, like I say, Hall's on Post. They're here for all your accounting and tax needs. They've been around since 1994. They do tax returns, and they opened their own accounting business back in 2003. Excuse me. They are a family-owned and operated business. Have a very low overhead. They can pass savings on to you because of that. And they say they're half the price of H&R Block, Liberty Tax, and Jackson Hewitt, and even do it better. You know, if you want to give them a call, check them out, or if you want to get some service from Hall's on Post, you know, give them a shout over there. It's www.hallsonpost.com, and you know, like I say, remember, Hall's on Post is there for all your accounting needs. Now, those guys, like I say, Hall's on Post also giving away tonight's winner is going to receive a real nice looking, looks like a carbon fiber ring, looks like a checkered flag there on it. So nice job of you know, putting up a nice prize out there for tonight's winner.
That's it. And like we talked about, Dwayne Hall, stand-up guy, class act guy, has helped all the guys over here in the VSU Cup, Nuff World, and kudos to him for helping us out with a lot of things with the admins, tracks, all kinds of stuff going on. So big kudos to him and stepping up for sponsoring this race for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned Dwayne Hall there. You know, like I said, if you head over there to hallsonpost.com, they've got the section there entitled the HOP Racing Team, the Halls on Post Racing Team, and you know, you can find out a little bit of information on Dwayne, you know, and the Halls on Post Racing Team there. Take a look at the car they got there. They got a nice looking little photo of their special pay scheme they're going to be running here soon, you know, on their site, and you know, you can kind of check things out over there, you know, at their website, go through their services, resources, some of the forms they got real good business rating, and a lot of good testimonials over there.
That's it. And as we get ready to go back green here, the 15 made it off of pit road, so he ain't got to worry about lane choice now. And the 03 has got, the 3 car, he's going to have to really dig to get past this guy. It should be one heck of a restart.
Yeah, you got Lewis Bussler, that number 3, you know, up there on that outside, you know, but Darren Benj in the 15, as we get the green flag, got that preferred line down on the inside. And once again, Chris Melton is all over the bumper, that number 3 machine, you know, pushing him down into turn 1 right there. Looks like Melton has definitely got a lot better restart gear than what that number 3 of Lewis Bussler does, as he keeps pushing him down that front stretch every time we have a restart and those two are together.
Yeah, and the 3 car showing the 15 a little love on the bumper there, going down the backstretch, saying, hey, bud, I'm not going nowhere. I'm sitting right here, so you better get on with it. So, man, I tell you, that was pretty wild going down the backstretch there.
Yeah, he was definitely getting a whole lot of love on that rear bumper there, as they were banging together quite often. As we got a caution out here on the speedway, but you know, it looks like that 33 and the 78, they were really kind of fighting things out there for third place too. So had 2 real good battles going on there for first and second position, and also third and fourth. So a lot of action. Things are starting to pick up a little bit, Kevin.
Yeah, here in the 5 car had some issues there. Not sure what was going on with that. We'll get Buster there to look on the replay and see if we can figure out what's going on. But right here is going to be an interesting strategy. We've had like 2 or 3 green flag laps here, and who's going to come in and get tires and who's not? I'm telling you, if I'm 15th, 14th, whatever back in there, I'm coming in. I'm getting 4 tires, and I'm going to make a little bit of adjustment on it. And you might not think that just having a couple of laps makes difference, but it does.
Yeah, those couple of lap tires make a difference, of course. You know, I hear it as we're kind of looking at the replay here. It looks like the 5 car of Kyle Lint there had a real good run coming down the backstretch, and you know, as they were getting into turn 3 here, you know, just kind of got in there a little deep, got underneath the 08 of Gutierrez and put them into a 3 wide situation. There was nowhere left to go right there, and not a whole lot of real estate, and that rear end just, you know, back the car just wasn't handling all that speed getting into the corner. It just kind of looped around with him, and I don't know exactly how everybody got through there without involving more cars than just the one car with Kyle Lint right there. Amazing job by everybody to miss that, or it could have been a collective mayhem all around, because there was a lot of cars coming through there.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. You know, this is not a self-cleaning racetrack, so your spotter has got to be on the ball letting you know where you need to go. Usually when they wreck, they're pretty much sitting there by the time you get around there, unless they're trying to get going. So heads up on everybody getting through this. Now, he was having himself a good run right there. And I think what that was a product was just low air pressure. You know, it kind of feels weird. You don't know if you're tight, you're loose, you're kind of in between. And you can't really push it that hard on the restarts like that until tire pressures come up. And I think he just got in there, like you said, Doug, too deep, and it just washed up on him, and he couldn't hold it.
Yeah, it looks like what happened there. So, unfortunate break there for Kyle Lind, who had been having a good night so far tonight. You know, had been able to kind of take care of that car. But, you know, going back, kind of looking, you know, goes way back into the time here we've been talking as such. But a guy who's been fighting all night long, and I see he's back on the lead lap now, is that number 4 car of Dennis Wright, Kevin, who we talked about there early part of this race, staying out there in questionable call, you know, staying out and not taking any tires on lap, I think it's back like 45 or something like that. We had our first caution, but he's been able to fight his way back into this thing tonight. He's back on the lead lap back there in 20th position tonight, so now will be a chance for him to start dogging it out, so to speak, out here and try to pick up some positions now finally.
Well, you're at that point of the race. You know, I'm looking here to see how many laps we have left, but you're at that point of the race where you got to really pick and choose what you're going to do. You got like 60 laps to go here. You're looking at what you need, 110, sorry about that, 110 laps around there to go. So you're looking, our calculator weirded out on us, folks, sorry about that. But you're looking to make adjustments on your car, but you don't want to make the bad adjustments. You don't have a whole lot to mess with here and a whole lot of laps to do it in, so you got to get everything dialed in.
Yeah, that's for sure. We got the green flag back out here as Lewis Bussa gets a real good jump on the restart this time. I don't know what happened differently with that restart, but Bussa had looked like a whole different gear package all of a sudden than what it had previously, you know, on the last restart. But Darren Benj is able to get back in front of him on that inside line, coming up out of 2, and takes over back to the number 1 position as, you know, he looks like Chris Melton is way down in the grass right there. Don't know what happened to him. But got real interesting for Chris as we got to toss him out on the track right there.
Yeah, that was, I don't know what happened with him there either. I think that the tire pressures got up there from the previous run. But man, that car just took off on him. I don't know how he managed to hold on to that thing.
Yeah, it looks like the 16 of Brian Lee may have become a victim of that also, as I saw him up there against the wall too. So definitely unfortunate for Brian Lee after he's been you know, working and strategizing all night to get himself back up there, but now finds himself you know, back in the 21st position with some damage now.
Yeah, and you know what? Doug? I'm not sure what happened to the 23, but I'm looking back at him. You know, not so long ago, he was up there battling too, and his car has looked really ill the last restart, a couple restarts. I'm not sure if anything's going on with him or not, but man, that car looks like a mess coming all around the corners.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that too, Kevin, and I think I might have the answer for you here. I'm kind of looking down at our track temperature thermometer here, and track temperature currently 95 degrees.
Yeah, what a change from the start of the race, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that we started back, gosh, I think it was like 80 degrees in track temperature when we started this thing. And, you know, even all the way up to lap 100, we were still in the 80s, but now it's climbed up into 95 degrees with a nice sunny day out there, and that track is heated up, and I'm sure that's starting to, you know, get some of these tires a little greasy.
Yeah, and you know, Doug, I cannot believe that the 3 car gave up that track position to come in and put some tires on that. The 3, the 34, the 33, those guys came in, and I can't believe they came in and gave that track position up unless these guys are going to try to, you know, get some track position up front here, but man.
Yeah, but we got the replay, look at replay here. It looks like the 27 got into the back of the 78 right there, which caused him to get in that corner a lot hotter than he should have been, which then he locked the brakes up trying to slow that thing down. And, you know as well as I do, Kevin, once you lock the brakes up in the corner trying to turn that car, it just ain't going to happen.
No, and the 27 is on go mode. He knows he's got to make up a lot of points for missing last week's race. And the 78, like I said, last week's winner, so he's just sitting there biding his time. Got 2 guys with 2 different strategies there. Of course, you know, the 27, I'm sure, didn't mean to get into him. But it's that time of the race, man. You get down to 100 to go, and like we said, hate to say it, but that old patient meter that you got sitting there, it doesn't want to stay on the side of being very patient anymore. You know you've got to go. But, you know, talking about the strategies up front, really surprised by some of these strategies. The 83, the 15, the 08, the 54, and the 55 stayed out for track position, even the 76. So we're getting ready, you know, we got the one to go here, and the 3 and the 34 and the 33 are going to be starting in a bunch of traffic here. So not sure if I'd have made that call, but, you know, what the heck do I know? I'm sitting up here with you.
Yeah, that's what I say a lot of times, Kevin. But you know, some of the guys who say heavily damaged now, but or so to speak, you know, innocent bystanders there. Brian Lee took a lot of damage on that last incident we had right there. You know, so I'm sure that's going to, you know, cause his car to run a lot different, as you know, he was, as Chris Melton come up the track there, you know, kind of got into him, spun him around, put him into the wall, you know, so he's going to have a pancake right side on that car, so that's going to cause that car to run completely different than what Brian's been used to tonight.
Yep, and it's going to be interesting to see how the 78 handles all this traffic way back there on 19th.
Yep, as we got the green flag coming out here, and we're back to green flag racing as Darren Benz gets a good restart heading down off into turn 1 with Timmy St. Jean out there in that outside line in second place. Pulls up on him a little bit here. You know, Darren hasn't cleared him yet. Oh, Timmy gets into the wall there and bounces off the wall a couple of times in that 83 machine. Allows the 08 of Gutierrez and the 55 of Dwayne Hall working underneath him now. So looks like Timmy got a little tight coming up off the corner and just couldn't get that thing going in the right direction.
Yeah, and someone that's loving this, Doug, is the 15. He wants these guys too wide for at least 2 or 3 laps, even with those old tires he's got out there that are like maybe 10 laps on them. These guys keep staying side by side. Those guys with fresh tires are going to get mired back there in traffic. He's going to be able to drive away.
Yeah, that's definitely what he's hoping for. But I'm looking a little further back right there behind him, that number 3 of Lewis Bussler, you know, currently in the 5th place position right behind Dwayne Hall there. As soon as these guys sort things out, you know, he's going to be looking to make some moves, get that number 3 back up there and chase down Darren Benz. So right now it's a chess match between these two on, you know, and he's followed by that 33 right there with him too. So it's just a matter of time, I think, before they get up there and find their way back up.
Yeah, looking back here in P7, P8, 9th and 10th, these guys, it's a dogfight. You got the 27 and the 54 side by side. And as you know, Doug, when you're that bottom car and you got that car on the outside, you're tight down there. You're just like, hey, man, cut me some slack. But when a guy's on the same lap as you are, as he finally lets him go, he's going to race you hard.
Yeah, that was a real nice, classy move there on the part of the 54 at Chapman, you know, to back off a little early, getting down there in the corner, let Reynolds get around him, you know, not racing, not beat their car, tear their cars up. But in doing so, it looks like Josh Biddle back there at 76 was not ready for that. He about ran on both of them.
And I'm going to tell you what, the 15 up front is loving this, because the 3 car and the 33 with those fresh tires cannot get past these 2 cars in front of them, and that was allowing the 15 to just drive off.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that they're not in that pack right behind them, though, because those guys, I'm looking right, you know, as Lewis Bussa and Ben Bando went by, you know, these guys are still too wide back there with Chapman and Josh Biddle and a lot of those others. You know, they are still too wide fighting out these positions back there, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, so on.
Yeah, and it wasn't so long ago that we saw the 87 backwards on the track into the wall. He's made some adjustments, and he's trying to crack the top 10.
Yeah, he's definitely making a nice comeback from all the damage he took earlier tonight. So, you know, he's definitely got in the pit lane, got the right adjustments made to that car. And I want to kind of look back up here a little bit, you know, to where we were at earlier. You know, we were watching Dale Reynolds coming around, you know, that mess that we were just looking at. But that guy is a man on a mission right now. He's got that 27 pulling right up behind Dwayne Hall now, about 2 car lengths back, and looking at 6th place. He's moving forward now, Kev.
That's it. And the 15, like I said, the 15's got to be loving this. It's a perfect storm for him. He's always, we got a spin in the back. We got the 54 and the 76 caution is out, Doug, on the speedway.
Oh, and there he goes, that 2-second lead that Darren Benz was able to build up, and definitely not what that 15 of Darren Benz was looking for right now. You can say that for sure.
No, and now, you know, he's going to be on the other end of that. As we were looking, those guys have 4 fresh tires. Well, not fresh, but they got a few laps on them. He's got older tires. So if you're the 15 now, do you come in and the 3 is going to take advantage and stay out and eat some laps, or what you've opened up here is a scenario of the 3 and 33 just taking right sides, and the 15 is going to have to take 4, and that's a big change in this race.
Yeah, so now the plot's thickens, so to speak, Kevin, as we're going to see how this stuff plays out as these cars are heading down pit road right now. So looks like Timmy St. Jean, though, is going to stay out. He's going to stay out on the track right behind the pace car, lead a lap there. I don't know if it's just a strategy to lead a lap, or if maybe Timmy knows something of that car and plans on staying out there. But yeah, it looks like, kind of watching a replay here, it looks like the 87 was underneath the 50. I'm sorry, yeah, the 87 was underneath the 54 as they went down into the corner right there. The 54 may have locked them up a little bit. Looks like the 76 and the 54 got together, and both are up in the wall with heavy damage.
Yeah, it's a shame the 54. He's just been sitting there running, as it looks like the 08 beats everybody off of pit road. So who knows? And you got the 87 here that gambled, must have taken 2 tires here himself. So man, who knows, Doug? We're just sitting up here and everybody's just taking tires left and right.
Yeah, it's getting to the point, Kevin, I'm about afraid to call anything on what pit road strategy might be, because every time we call it, they go the opposite way.
That's it. And you got to wonder, you know, what the 15 and the 3 and the 33 and all those pulled for tires. So just unreal.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of different strategies going out there tonight. A lot of guys doing a lot of different things that, in my own opinion, are kind of surprising, some of the stuff some of these guys are actually doing. But, you know, anyway, coming off of pit road, it looks like Darren Benz, you know, is able to hang on to the lead. Gutierrez gets out in second. Kevin Kelly Jr., like you said, takes a big gamble, comes out in 3rd place here. Louis Bussa and Ben Bando rounding out your top 5. And Dwayne Hall sneaking up into 6th place now with, you know, all that damage we talked about a little bit earlier, you know, on that car.
That's it. Here from pit road, the 87 did take right side tires only. So they're trying to get some track position here. Not sure what the 3 and the 33 took, but man, what's some tire strategies here?
Yeah, and about to mention a name now. This young man has been kind of creeping and sneaking all night, staying underneath the radar, but has cracked into the top 10 now in 8th place. That number 51 of Cottrell. That's a guy we really haven't spoken about. Another rookie over here in NuffWorld. He's cracked up into the top 10 there, running into 8th place position. So add a new face and a new name to the mix up here in the top 10, Kevin.
That's it. I mean, like I said, this is the time of the race where you've got all kinds of strategies. You've got all kinds of you know, patient out the window. You know, basically, this is the time of the race where, you know, your brain doesn't function anymore inside the helmet. It goes to the right foot. So this is going to be real interesting what happens here on this restart.
Yeah, it's about to get wild once again, as we've seen, you know, pretty much about all night, you know, as, you know, Cottrell, we talked about, he's been as low as 28 tonight, you know, moving up into 8th now. So good run for that young man here tonight. So let's see if he can capitalize more on it as we get ready to go green here with Darren Benz down on the inside lane once again as we get the green flag flying in the air. And looks like Gutierrez may have got a bit of a rough restart there. And 15 car of Darren Benz is able to clear him getting down into 1. But, oh, looks like the 08 is battling back on the outside. He's got a little bit of speed through the center there.
That's it. And those 2 tires are starting to show on the 87 already. Maybe he's just banking on a quick caution here. But speaking of the 51, he's stuck on the outside. They're not where you want to be, along with the 55, and the 27 is just reaping the benefits of that.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of racing going on out here right now with those fresh tires, and right now's the time that you need to use as much of it as you possibly can, because we're getting down. It's just about go time here. 91 laps to go this time by, so a lot of these guys and a lot of these strategies got to start being played out right now. And like you said, that patience meter is starting to get down to the far left corner if you're looking at your gas hand.
That's it. And real good battle back here with the 51 and the 03. The 03 wants it, 51 has it, and he holds him off on the high line there as he's trying to sneak outside of the 55. Man, what a move on the outside, but the 55, can he make it stick? Looks like he is as he's creeping up on the back of the 87. 87's got to stay low to 51 with a run. And, man, you were just talking about it, Doug. What a drive.
Yeah, this young man is trying to make the most out of it tonight. He's out here to he's kind of ready to prove, I think, himself. You know, he's been around a few races now. Like I say, rookie over here, and maybe he feels that it's time. Hey, I've got the car under me tonight. You know, I've got to kind of make a statement, and he's definitely, you know, having a good run and running up there on that outside. I'm kind of surprised he's able to get the speed he is, but he's definitely making that outside line work for himself right now.
Yeah, that's it, and probably the best battle on the racetrack right now with these guys just going at it. And we were just seeing, is this a replay of last week, Doug? The 16 is back in the mix, looking to try to bust the top 10. Where did he come from?
Yeah, he's definitely trying to make the most out of the night. He's got to make all the points he can because he had that rough little patch there, you know, getting caught up in a mess there a little bit earlier. But I'm looking at this right here in front of him, you know, with Kevin Kelly Jr. and Dwayne Hall and Cottrell. This thing, after 3 laps, has not got itself settled yet, as Cottrell's still up there on that outside. Hall's underneath him, but looks like that inside line is going to prevail before this is all over with. But, you know, he's took quite a few shots at trying to get around Kelly Jr. there on that outside line, too, but hasn't been able to make it work so far up on that outside. As, you know, looks like he's starting to wear those tires a little bit. Now, the inside line is going to prevail.
Yeah, you can only hang around so long out there. What happens is you just start heating that right rear up. And it's just going to give up on you. And he was out there with a little bit of older tires than these guys anyway. So you're pretty much not helping that situation as we see him slide back and lose like 3 more spots here. Basically gave it all he could right there. As the 23 is trying to fill that hole right there. And the 51, Doug, he just is not giving up. He's just driving it off the corner.
Yeah, he's doing all he can with that outside line. I mean, sooner or later, of course, the inside is going to prevail. And the unfortunate thing there for Cottrell is once he got up on that outside line, couldn't get back down to the inside when Dwayne Hall was underneath him. He was committed to the outside line, and they just stacked up behind him on the inside like a choo-choo train coming through. And, you know, he's got to get in where he can fit in, so to speak. And right now, he's able to fit in right behind the 16, you know, but lost quite a few positions right there. Falls back to 10th position.
Oh, see the 87 get off the wall right there. He's out there with those 2 tires, so 16 looking good. Looks like last week, Doug, we thought we wrote him off and said, well, he's got too much damage. He's done. He went a couple laps down. He battled back and got a, I think, 6th or 5th place out of last week. Here he is with heavy damage about 25, 30 laps ago, and he's in 9th spot coming again.
Yeah, that says something to that man's never say die attitude right there. You know, even a lot of people, you know, when they get that heavy damage, you know, they have a tendency to just, you know, take it back there, put it behind the wall, call it a night, it's over with. I can't compete for a win, I've got damage, whatever the case may be. But not Brian Lee, you know, he's showing what this sport's all about. You know, he's out there, he's trying to make every position he possibly can, and he's here to compete. Even if it's with a beat-up, broke-down race car, he's going to bring you home a steering wheel.
That's it. You know, going back through the field here a little bit, some guys that, you know, were running pretty decent earlier in the race, just as the races went on, whether it's track temperatures, we stated earlier, which we've gained like 15 degrees since we dropped the green flag. Chuck Garcia in 16th. He's had some issues tonight. The 4, we've documented his debacle at the beginning of the race with tires. Timmy St. Jean running solidly in the top 10 earlier. Now he's back to 18th. Some of these cars, man, are going the wrong way, to 34 included. A while ago, they were solidly in the top 10, and now we catch them back here, and they're not really making a whole bunch of ground up.
Yeah, I'm going to look a little further back here in 24th position there, Kevin. A guy we don't talk a whole lot about during the races, you know, but one of those guys, he's been around here for a while. He's, you know, happy as he can be every race he gets to make it out to, but that number 28 of Dennis Jenkins still hanging in there tough, you know, currently running in the 24th position. So, you know, that's got to be a good night for that young man who's had a lot of problems as of late with engine troubles and so on and whatnot. But you know,
the 24 spun and wrecked, Doug, right in front of the 28 as we had the camera on him. And the 24, not sure what happened, but he is head first into the wall on the backstretch.
Yeah, and you know, that's not the way Chuck Garcia wanted to have this night going for him. It just seems like he really hasn't it's like the setup just hasn't been there for him tonight. He's not had the run we're used to seeing out of that number 24 machine, and you know, and that just adds per se insult to injury on the night that he's had.
Yeah, not sure what happened on that. I'm sure our statistician there, the man behind the knobs back there, will find out what happened for us. But like I said, we caught a glimpse of 28 going by. Saw the 24 nose first as we got the replay over here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, unfortunately for Chuck, just one of those situations. He's coming into the corner there, and looks like he might have got just a little touch there, you know, to kind of get him around. Couldn't really tell from that angle, but, you know, unfortunate for Garcia. He's down there on the inside line, you know, doing all that he could with that beat-up car tonight. Looks like he kind of, you know, might have had to check up a little bit for that 34, and when he checked up, the Ford may have got into him, can't really tell, but either way, that rear end definitely did not react the way Chuck wanted it to, and it came right around with him.
Yeah, as we're looking at pit road, I got to wonder what strategy here. You know, every time we thought they'd take 4, they've taken 2. And every time we think they take 2, they take 4. So it's hard to say, you know, what's going to happen on this. Is, man, the 87 almost got the 5 coming out of pit road. Looking at the 78 coming out in 13th, trying to make up some room there. And back up front, we've got the 76 and the 12 car staying out. Got to think they're just trying to lead some points here as they got old tires. Although we've played that one wrong too tonight, Doug.
Yeah, we might be playing it wrong this time too, Kevin. I'm sitting here. Looks like Hinkle is going to stay out once again, so he might be thinking about trying the strategy there of Dennis Wright earlier in the race. You know, stayed out. He's led a lap now, maybe 2, as you know. But you know, looks like Darren Benz was our first car off of pit road, so he's going to, at the current time, retain the second place position. But Hinkle so far hasn't shown any inkling that he's going to try to get down pit road here, so he might be trying to. You know, crazy strategy is staying out there and see how the car reacts.
Yeah, it's, you know, he's had a bad night all night long. The car's not been to his liking. Obviously, they missed the setup at the beginning of the race. He's been one of those ones that's been there all year long racing. We tease and call Jerry the youngster, and he's probably the oldest one of us all. But he goes out there and gives it heck every weekend, and glad to see him out here racing tonight. Looks like he's on pit road, Doug.
Yeah, it looks like crew chief called him down pit road. Said, "Hey, let's leave this strategy. Let's get in here, get 4 fresh tires on." Got about 78, 77 laps or so to go now. So he gives up that number 1 position, heads down pit road. Looks like he's going to take all 4 tires and fuel here. So that'll relegate the lead back to Darren Benz, you know, solidly in that number 1 position. But now the one thing Darren did not want to see, you know, no cars between himself and Louis Bussa and Ben Bando, as Louis Bussa's in 2nd, Ben Bando gets out 3rd, and Dale Reynolds moves up into 4th position now. So, you know, definitely something Darren was not looking forward to, all these cautions and getting him bunched back up with these guys once again.
And I'm going to tell you what, I believe the 33, if I'm the team owner, I'm going to say, hey, if you can let the 3 down, you need to let him 3 down, because you need to get down as soon as you can get down here.
Yeah, that might be the case down there in that camp, but we got the green flag back out, and looks like Darren Benz didn't get the restart he's used to getting. The 33 gives him a little bump, gets him up to speed. As they head off into turn 1, he's side by side with that number 3 of Louis Bussa, but Bussa is battling hard back on that outside line out there. But it looks like Benz is going to be able to clear him coming off of 2 and moves up in front of him. Louis Bussa relegates himself back to 2nd place, and now Ben Bando is right up behind Bussa also.
And you know, this could play right in the strategy to 15, because I really think the 15 has got probably the best car on the restarts for the first 35, 40 laps. And then he starts falling off a little bit. So look for him to drive really, really hard here and try to get some distance between him and the 3. And It looks like we got a caution out.
Wow, and that was a quick one. I was about to chime in there and say we had a real good battle going on back there for 4th and 5th place position, as Dale Reynolds and Danny Gutierrez were really battling things out there for a minute. Had Reynolds up on that outside line, and Gutierrez down on the inside trying to make a move under him, but unfortunately the caution come out before that one could play out. So had a real good battle going on there, Kevin.
Yeah, here in the 32 had some issues. We'll get Buster to take a look for us and see what's going on. But here in the 32 had some issues on that that caution right there.
Yeah, unfortunate for that 32, Justin Barden, who definitely has not. He's definitely had a really rough night. It looks like he just kind of lost it on his own there, coming on down to turn 4 and kind of got it sideways, got down into that inside retaining wall, and kind of rode the wall down for a little bit. Luckily enough, no one else got involved in that. As Timmy St. Jean did get a little piece of that. As Barden started trying to slow down and get that car corrected. So looks like the 83 took some nose damage after all that exchange happened.
Yeah, you got to feel bad for Justin Barr, the driver of 32. Great kid out of Virginia. Just had a tough couple weeks, man. But, you got to finish these things. We've seen stranger thing happens, man. You just got to get out of here with a finish, get some points, and move on to next week.
Yes, he's down on pit road now, getting that car, to the attention of his pit crew and the crew chief. So he's going to bring it back out of pit road here. Looks like stay on the lead lap at least. So that's a little glimmer of hope for Barden. So good job of getting it back out there and getting it on the track, not losing a position. But like you said, good kid out of Virginia out there. But definitely not having a night he was looking forward to. And so far, the chase has not been good to him.
No, and like I said, he was up there in the top 3, top 4 of the points all year long with consistency. I think he missed the last race of the year. He was already locked in to the chase. So, there's all kinds of factors that figure into it. Like I said, backing in. You don't mean to, but, sometimes it just happens. You back into the chase. You don't have that big old momentum swing with you. But, talking about up front here, I think this plays right into the 15's hands. I think he's like, come on, boys, just keep throwing cautions because I got a short run car.
Yeah, that could be very well the case because we've only had one really long run tonight. And, we saw at that point Darren was able to get out there, lead quite a few laps in that first, like you said, 30, 45 laps. But then it seems like that 3 and 33 were able to get around him and just kind of set sail, so to speak. So the shorter these runs go, the better it plays into the hands of that 15.
Yeah, and looking back, we've got the 55 of Dwayne Hall and P7, and he was in a couple of incidences tonight, and he finds himself up here in the top 10, raced his way up there as we see the 62 get the lucky dog there. 16 also, we thought he was pretty much done, and the 78 has battled himself back up there too, near the top 10. So, we counted these guys out just a little bit, and they've showed us wrong, Doug. They drove right back up to the front and looking for a top 10 again.
That they have, and we talk about bonus points too, Kevin. I'm sitting here looking at the leaderboard over on our live broadcast channel, and right now I'm showing Louis Bussa with 107 laps led and Darren Binge with 102. So, those two are in a tight battle too for those that bonus point for the most laps led. As we got the green flag here, and Ben Bando is all over that 15 coming down the front stretch as Louis Bussa falls back about 3 positions. He missed something there on that restart.
Yeah, he either missed. If he 78 is around, I think we're staying green as the 3 brushes the wall on the backstretch. Something to miss on the 3 car, either missed the shift or didn't clean the tires off or something. But like you said, Doug, he lost 3 spots, man, and now he's fighting for his life out there.
Yeah, he's able to, Ben Bando's able to get around him. Danny Gutierrez is able to get around him. He's finally settled into that 4th place position, but he's got Dwayne Hall and Dale Reynolds all over his back too. They're breathing down his neck, looking to take a position away if he slips up one more time, but that's allowed Darren Binge to really get out there and kind of get away from the things.
And this is what we talked about, Doug, at the beginning of the race. The 3 had that race covered last week, came back and won, had a mistake midway through the race and got stuck back there. Had to do a black flag and battled his way up, got some lucky breaks with some cautions and stuff. But, you can't keep messing. It's like Mama told you, don't touch the flame because it's going to burn you. You can't do it too many times or it is going to burn you. And you got to wonder if this is maybe hurt his chances of winning this race.
Yeah, it may have very well. I mean, he's, like we said there at the beginning of the race, how long can Luck hold out on that 3 machine? Because he's dodged quite a few bullets here lately. And, that one could be one of those bullets that he just got kind of shot with again and may not be able to bounce back from.
Yeah, what a dogfight as we go back here to 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. The 27 to 55 to 5 and the 8. And it was just like maybe 25, 30 laps ago that the 5 was involved in a spin. It was back there in 21st. And he is all over the back at a 55. So, 55 in the same boat. He had some damage earlier. And, man, they made some good adjustments on those cars. And they've turned the wick up on them. They know that there's less than 100 to go, and they're going at it.
Yeah, these guys are definitely in a dogfight going on out there. As they got a little bit of space between them right now, but I don't think that's going to last for long. I think someone may have cooled. A couple of them may have got the tires a little warm, maybe backing them off, get another run at this here in just a second. But Wayne Hall is definitely setting sights on trying to crack that top 5 there, currently held by Dale Reynolds at 27. So as he makes a good move going down into the corner right there, had a good run up on the 27. See if he can hold it coming off. But the 27, unfortunately, is able to get back to the throttle and put that little bit of gap between him and the 55 once again.
That's it. And looking back up front, it looks like the 33 is just a ton better getting into the corner. The 15's a little bit better getting off. And the 33's making up maybe a tenth of a second a lap here. And he's bringing the 08 with him. So we're not seeing the dominant takeoffs that we've usually seen from the 15 throughout this race when he's been up front. He's maintained it, but the 33 is just a little bit better. And you got to wonder if something's going on with the 15 or not.
I'm kind of wondering that same question, Kevin, about that number 3 car, though, of Louis Bussa. I know he did have that bad restart, but I expected to actually see him kind of making up some ground by this point, coming up after Darren Benj. But he's about a second off the lead right now. It's about a second between himself and Benj, and starting to open it up a little more as they go down this front back stretch here. So something might be going on with that number 3 machine of Louis Bussa.
Yeah, you got to wonder if on that restart something happened, because he dropped like a rock, like 3 positions right there on the get-go. Maybe got in the corner just wrong, maybe missed the gear, and had to stick it back in real quick or whatever. And as we say that, the 08 is starting to make up ground on the 33, Doug.
Yeah, at the 08, Gutierrez has been driving that car hard all night and trying to get all he can out of it, knowing he's got to make as many points as he possibly can after missing last week's race. Try to get as many points, get himself back up in that point standings. But, with all that happening back there, Darren Benj is actually, looks like he's turned the wick up himself and is starting to get away from that 33 as well.
Yeah, and I think what happens is the 33, it's getting down towards the end of the race, and you're looking up in the mirror and you see that car sitting right there behind you, and you're like, well, I don't want to lose this spot, but I want to try to get the leader too. So that's what we're talking about, as we see the 28 slow on the bottom there in the middle of 3 and 4. It's like he's heading to pit road. But it kind of takes your focus off of what's going on in front of you. When you got somebody behind you like that, your spotter's telling you, hey, just hit your marks. But you know yourself, Doug, when you see that car in the mirror and it's getting bigger, you tend to lose focus about what's going on in front of you.
Yeah, that is true. You kind of take your focus away from what is in front of you and focus on, what's happening on you right now, which would be that car closing in on you behind and, sticking right there in your rearview mirror, especially when you start reading the sponsor there on the hood. It's a little too close for comfort, so to speak. It's time to start concentrating on that guy that's right there. So definitely, could be the case of what happened there. But I'm kind of looking back through here. Dale Reynolds, Wayne Hall, and Kyle Lent are still right there, in those same positions. So not a lot has changed up on the track right now. As we're coming to lap 240 here. So it's about time for these guys to kind of turn the wick up and start figuring out what they got if they haven't figured it out yet, and start making a march to the front.
That's it. We should go back here and look. The 54 just got the lucky dog a while ago. He's making good use of that, man. He's moved up to 11th in the 12, man. Just not the night he was looking for. Lost like 4 positions right there in that whole transition. And that car just looks like it's tight coming up off the corner. He's got to get off the gas. He's losing all his momentum down the back stretches. The 24 is looking underneath of him. Tough night for the 12, but the guys in front of him, man, they've been racing hard all night. And here's D. Wright, Dennis Wright in the 4 car up in 14th, and he was mired back in 20-something, Doug.
Yeah, Dennis, he had that questionable strategy call there early in the race, and he's been battling all night since that point. I think that was like
got a spin, Doug, the 54 on the back stretch.
Yeah, I was noticing that too, Kevin. That's unfortunate for the 54. Is you were just commenting on the run he was starting to have right there.
Yeah, it looks like he was running a little bit too hard and got on the outside of the 87 maybe, and just got loose up there, got on the marbles and lost it.
Yeah, and no caution out on the speedway as he spun it off the track right there, so not in danger of being hit by anyone or a danger to any of the other drivers. So things stay green out there, and that's going to play havoc to him right there because with it staying green, no caution coming out. He's definitely going to have to come to pit road, get some tires on that car, so that's going to lose a couple of laps right there just on the pit road, as well as whatever time he may have lost out there on the track already. So unfortunately, getting that lucky dog, getting on back on the lead lap, now it all went away.
Yeah, as you see in the replay, he just lost it on his own, just trying to get a little bit extra, and that's one thing about this track, Doug. It will bite you. You try to get a little bit too aggressive with her, and she'll just go around.
Yeah, definitely. And looks like Chapman has put that thing back there. He's went behind the wall and calling it a night here. So that'll add to our list and kind of update you. Some we hadn't mentioned it earlier, but we've had two more cars also. Kevin put them back there in the garage. It's like Timmy St. James gave it up for the night, as well as the 32 of Justin Barton, who just was not having a good night out here tonight. So unfortunately for Justin, though, that's going to take a good hit on the points right there.
Yeah, and hate to see it for the youngster, like you said, stand-up kid. Runs a good race, runs clean every week, every race, all race long. Just had a bad string of luck the last two races. So look for those guys to put some wheel time in and get some practice in as we head to Dover next week.
Yeah, that's going to be another dogfight track right there, Kevin. You talk about things being tough here on this surface, and that inside retaining wall being there, nowhere to go when you spin out. We're coming to Dover next week, which is going to be kind of the same track, another concrete track, very high bankings, very high speeds with a concrete surface that's just going to eat at those tires. So that's going to be another dogfight there when we get to Dover, just like it is here.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm with you, Doug. I think something is amiss with the 3 car. Even though he's up to 3rd spot, he's just not gaining like he was before. Although we are seeing the 33 make up a little bit of that's going to cost the 33, I think, just a little bit there with a lot of traffic. We're right about that point where the 15, we've seen him fade every run, and a lot of traffic. He's using it to his advantage in certain situations in the track here. Man, it looked like it took off with him just a little bit right there. But like I said, this is right about where I think he needs a caution, because this is right about what we were talking about, Doug, where his car starts falling off a little bit.
Yeah, and you can visibly see it's kind of starting to fall off as Bando is able to start reeling him in, here as we're getting about that point, like you said, as we're coming up on the 50 to go here. But Darren's still leading the way, and Ben Bando, though, is starting to definitely eat away at that, about a half a tenth each lap. So, it's about that time, just like you referred to, Kevin, that Darren Benge's car starts falling off a little bit. So the best thing he can hope for is a caution here in about the next 10 laps or so, and be able to get in and get some fresh rubber on that car.
That's it. They're looking for a water bottle, a piece of rubber, anything on the track to throw a caution here, as the 64 gives way to these guys. In the 33, he's there. He's just waiting for him to slip up. I don't think at this point he really has to overdrive his car. Because he knows, as you can see right there, the 15 looks tight in the center off, and the 33 the whole race, on this run, it's just been better getting into the corner, and it's pretty evident here. The 15 has lost his drive from the center off, and 33 is just rotating beautifully to the corner.
Yeah, it looks like those tires are starting to give up a bit on Darren Benz there, especially like you said, through the middle of the corner, especially, as he's looking really tight right there. As Bando is able to drive it in there quite a bit deeper and keep it glued down there on that bottom, so that's giving him what he needs, that drive up off. But, now Bando's got to start playing the strategy and the chess match, so to speak, of how he's going to get underneath, getting into one of these corners, to keep Darren up there on that high side. So now it becomes one of the thinking man's game, so to speak.
Well, it's always like we said, catching them is one thing, passing them is another. So I'm sure the 15 is going to try to make this car just as wide as he can make it. But the 33 is definitely faster to the center and off now. The 15 needs a caution. Put 4 tires on this thing, which would basically put him in his window to be able to run. Right now, if we had a caution come out, the 33 is just digging it through the center of the corner. The 15's not going to give it up, but before long, I think Mr. Bumper is going to meet the bumper of the other car.
Yeah, that is something that wouldn't surprise me to see here, especially these short tracks. We always talk about short track racing, and guys, really, that bumper comes into effect a lot of times here, on getting positions, and many times more than we would care to admit sometimes. But right now the 15 is able to keep the 33 at bay. And while all this is, well, looks like Bando was able to get underneath him a little bit there, but isn't able to pull up alongside. But I'm kind of looking a little further back. Whoa, look at Bando launch down into that corner right there. But I was just about to say, as Bando takes over the lead, look who is right behind him, man, enjoying that battle that's going on as reeled him in.
Yeah, that's it. And the 15 just lost the handle on this thing. Like I said, he's right outside of his window where we said, he could run. He's just praying for a caution right now. He needs a caution really, really bad as the 33 is just starting to drive off. And I think what happened there when he gave up the lead, the 15 just basically was riding his line, and the 33 said, you know what, I'm going to drive it in there. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, I'll try it again, and it worked.
Yeah, because Bando definitely had a good head of steam going into that corner, and if you're Darren Benz, you don't even think about trying to slide down in there when the guy's got that kind of momentum coming in front of you, because then all you do is kind of ruin your night anyway. It's much better to come home with a second place finish than to chance something like that, with less than 50 to go and ruin a whole night's worth of work. As we see the 3 now moving underneath Darren, so that the handling of that car, Kevin, has definitely went away.
Yeah, and like I said, he's begging for a caution right now, and I can tell you from running these races, and so can you, Doug, we're at that point to where these things usually finish out green pretty good. Everybody's pretty well settled in. They got what they got. They're trying to get out of here with some points, and they can't get aggressive because the car is not letting them get aggressive. So they pretty much settle in, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go green from here on out.
Yeah, from here on out, from the looks, how things seem to be, it's just, ride what you've got, because there's nothing else you can do to it at this point unless someone makes a mistake. But, the way this field is so stretched out right now, Kevin, and there's no real battle side by sides and such going on, there's not a whole lot of chance unless someone self-spins and brings out the caution on their own right there.
Yeah, that's it. Right now, it's like, you can survive. You don't have to worry about blowing a right front tire from too much heat, because you really, you're not in danger of doing that unless you're using a lot of brake. And you're to the point in the race where, I've got to get out of here with a good finish. I'm not going to win this thing. I just need to settle in and finish where I'm at. Got a good battle going on here at 9th, 10th, and 11th with the 23 of Samato, the 55 of Dwayne Hall, and the 34 of Ben Britton here.
Yeah, it looks like Britton was able to get by, and Samato kind of, tried to follow that line down underneath Dwayne Hall, and has relegated Dwayne Hall in that 55 back to the 11th place position, But Dwayne, of course, we documented earlier, is dealing with a good bit of damage on that car tonight, and just doesn't have the car he had at the earlier parts of the race. So he's trying to hang on, currently running in the 11th place position. He's just trying to walk out of here tonight, I think, with a good finish after the way things went early in the race for him.
Yeah, you look at Samato, he restarted in 17th place, and he's made pretty good progress, so for where he's at now.
Yeah, it looks like, Kevin, he's picked up about 7 positions since that last restart, so he may have made some adjustments on that final caution right there that we did. Well, I wouldn't say final caution, there may be more to come, but the last caution, he was able to make up a lot of positions after, maybe some work in the pits, but kind of looking in front of him too, Kevin, at number 34 of Ben Britton. He restarted 16th on that last restart. He's moved himself up into 9th, so he's starting to put together a real nice run here too.
Yeah, like you said, these guys are pretty well settled in right now. You've got Garcia, who restarted 21st, and he's worked his way all the way up to 13th, so good rebound from him. We just saw him a few laps ago in the wall nose first. So they've taped her up, made some adjustments, and trying to get a good run out of here, trying to look for a top 10.
Yeah, it looked like that crew, when they went into pits there a little bit earlier, pulled out a whole lot of bear bond for that car, taped up that nose real good, and tried to get it as aerodynamic as they possibly could. You know, this 1 mile track, aerodynamics played just a little factor into it, but you know, they've done a lot of work to that car to get him where he's at, and he's done a lot of hustling as a driver too to get where he's at as he's moving underneath the number 20 of Doc Stout, or excuse me, 62 of Doc Stout now. So, you know, Garcia continuing to try to move forward, try to advance as much as he possibly can. So, but, you know, I'm kind of looking at this gap that's getting opened up here in front, Kevin. But Ben Bando is running away with things now.
Yeah, he's here we got a car on the wall in turn 2, trying to figure out who it is. 55 in the wall. And we're staying green. And just as we said that we have long green flag runs, we were almost in jeopardy of losing that.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect scenario to play out right there. Darren Benz, you know, that guy is, he's fell now 2.6 seconds behind the race leader, Ben Bando, with about 35 or so to go here. So, you know that Benz is definitely looking for a caution to fall soon. That would be the best thing that could possibly happen for that young man tonight. As, you know, we've documented he's got about a 25, 35 lap car before it starts falling off. So if he can get a caution about this point, then I think Darren Benz might have something to say.
Yeah, you know, and if you see the 64 move up for the 3 in the 12 here, you got the 28 hitting pit road, must have a tire down. But, you know, I'm sure that 3 car would love to see a caution too. These boys will pump the air up in these tires for a restart. I mean, perfect scenario for them would be about 25 to go, because they could really run these things hard and let the men settle it out here. But I don't think the 15's got a shot at getting these guys. If he loses another spot, even if we have a caution, it's going to be hard for him to make up that ground on these guys, just for the sheer fact they're not just going to pull over for him. So I think he was banking on a caution earlier, just didn't get it, and you know, he's just trying to salvage the top 5 right now.
Yeah, and kind of to document, you know, on another young man who was, we were talking about a lot during the night, but got involved in one of those incidents there a little bit earlier, and the night just keeps going south for him, is that number 78 of Chris Melton, currently running in 17th place, who we just seen leader Ben Bando go around him to place him a lap down. So, you know, that's one young man who's had a rather disheartening night after, you know, running so well in the early parts of that race to, you know, once again see that 33, but yet know that this time you're getting a lap down. That's just it's just a rough way to look at things right now with those laps that are going down.
Yeah, you know, especially, you know, this sport can be humbling, Doug. I mean, 1 week you're on top of the heap, you know, and you're finishing top 3 and almost won the race, and the next week you're running around a couple laps down just trying to get some points. So it's feast or famine, that's for sure. It just shows you how tough it is here.
Yeah, this is definitely a driver's track. You know, getting the setup right is one thing, but I mean, you can still hit the setup, and unfortunately, you know, incidents happen, and you get involved in someone else's incident, changes everything there is about your car, changes how you got to drive it, and then that's when it comes into the driver's factor. And you know, he's willing to that car around here the best he can, but you know, a lot of heavy damage on that car, and unfortunately a rough night for him, you know. And we talk about, you know, Darren Benz and that whole, you know, the way his car is running. You know, if we don't have a caution here soon, you're probably right. You know, he falls another position or 2 back. Yeah, it might be the end of it for him, but, you know, if we're to fall, you know, there's a lot of scenarios can play out in this sport, and we're, you know, the next 30 laps, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of strategies play out too.
Yeah, and, you know, it's just that point of the race where you're pretty much, okay, I'm not going to get a caution. You got to settle in. You got to defend the position that you're in. Race the guy around you. It's probably the only time, you know, during the race that you want to race the racer that's near you, because you need that point. I mean, points are everything in this championship chase, and you just got to buckle down. You don't want to do anything stupid. You don't want to do anything foolish, but if you can get a point and race a guy, you know, and get a point, you can do that. But basically, these guys now are pretty much settling in and saying, this is what we need to do. Well, here we got the 28 around, looking around the track. I think we're staying green.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to stay green. 28 did go around there. Was able to get it off the track out of the way. So But tell you what, Kevin, let's take ourselves a quick commercial break here from Loudon, New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That way we can kind of get back here, cover all the action. As we'll probably get back about a little less than 25 to go. So let's take a quick commercial break and get back to some live green flag action here when we get back. Stay tuned. And welcome back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in Loudon, New Hampshire for tonight's running of the Halls on Post 301 presented by NuffWORLD TV. We've got pretty much nothing changed up here in the front as we come back to you live with 277 laps now. Ben Bando has been able to kind of open up that lead a little bit more on Lewis Bussa, so not a lot's changed there. Darren Ben's still running in third, 4.9 seconds back, but there's a few battles still going on out there on the track, Kevin.
Yeah, looking back here at 11th, 12th, and 13th, these guys are getting after it, man. The 24, like I said, made some really good changes after that last wreck that he was in, and he's trying to hold off the 87. The 87's trying to hold off the 51. The 51 wants both of them, so heck of a battle here. The 51 dives inside the 87.
Yeah, the 51, we talked about him a little bit earlier when he got up there, cracked into that top 10 and such. He's this young man's been around for a few races now, started learning all the guys, earning some respect from everybody, and he's looking pretty hungry out here tonight, Kevin. He's looking, he gets around Junior in that 87 and gets around Garcia in the 24. He might be able to set his sights on a top 10 for on Frankie Samato out there, which is about 4 seconds in front of these guys.
That's it. It's a 51 clears the 87. So a good showing for him tonight. Got a 64 coming off the pit road down there. These guys, we got 19 to go. The 87 gets a little squirrely there. The 16 just got to be the story of the race, getting into that big time damage on his car there, Doug, and he's back in 9th place. So good recovery for the 16.
Yeah, Brian is doing exactly what he has to do tonight, Kelly. He had a bad night and went back south on him. As we see the 51 of Cottrell go around the 24 there of Garcia. So move Cottrell up into 11th position. But Brian Lee, like I said, Kevin, he's doing exactly what he's got to do. He got dealt a rough hand tonight getting involved in that accident, but he knows he's in that championship hunt. So he's out there making every single point that he possibly can. And, at the end of the season, this one race that he hung in there on may be the one that could win it for everything,
That's it. And, kudos to him. I mean, he knows you got to stick with it. I mean, we seen what he had to do last week just to get on pit road, to get his car serviced and stuff. So that just shows you the fire and determination in this young man to go out here and try to win the championship. Oh, we got the 08 that's off the pace on the front stretch. Not sure what happened here.
Yeah, the '08 is definitely slowed. He's been having himself a good night up until this point, but he is definitely off the speed. Looks like we got a caution out, so that may be the caution we've been talking about for Darren Benz. Let's see how many cars may try to adopt that two-tire strategy here, Kevin, and gain some valuable track position as we're going to go. We've got about 16 to go now, so by the time we get back to green, we're only going to have about 13 laps or so to go. So we'll see if any two-tire strategies play out here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's got a left front down from here. But we talked about this race going green, and again, they proved us wrong. So the 15 might not be too late for him, Doug. We'll have to see, but he's got a car that goes on the first 10, 12 laps.
Yeah, it looks like 76 may have had some contact there with the 08, which brought that one out. Unfortunate night as Gutierrez has been doing what he had to do tonight to try to get the maximum amount of points. And it's kind of interesting on those two also with the 76 and 08. That's team owner and driver right there. So unfortunately, team owner getting into the driver.
That's it. Do you think there's going to be a team meeting after this one, Doug?
May have to be on that one because, Gutierrez having a good night out there running in the top 10, trying to make max points like we talked about, after moving, missing last week's race, need to make every point he can. And unfortunately, that's going to cost him a few positions, which will be a few points right there. So, may have to have a little talk after the race on this one with the 08.
That's it. And you know what, Doug? This is that time of race where you've got guys that are not in the chase, just want to try to get a win or a good solid finish. Wouldn't surprise me at all if some of these guys that ducked in earlier and got a little bit fresher tires, although, anytime you run laps around here, you're tearing these tires up. We might get some people stay out, and that would make a big log jam for the guys that are coming in and getting 4 tires.
Yeah, it will. And kind of look at this as way they come down pit road here, Kevin. There's a big gap between Bando, Bussa, and then all the way back to the third place running Darren Benz. So looks like the leader, the first and second place cars are going to have about 3 to 4 seconds to work on those cars before Benz will actually get into his pit stall. So that could make things very interesting for Benz trying to get back up front here. But let's see how many may go after the two-tire stop as looks like a few cars are coming off.
The 3 took damage on pit road. We talked about it. Pit road again for the 3. Got in the back of the 15, and he's got to have nose damage on that one, Doug.
Man, and definitely not what you want to see with these guys. It looks like the 33 of Bando was able to get off clear there, but definitely not what you want to see for Benj or Lewis Bussa, as both have cars, looks like capable of possibly winning this race. But, that could be something that comes back to bite both of them.
Yeah, and you're looking at the restart. If it stays the way it's at right now, you got Dale Reynolds, who had to take 2 tires on that. 33 had took 4, obviously. And you've got Darren Benj in the 15, who's going to be starting on the bottom, going to try to shoot underneath of that 27 and take off after that 33. This is going to be one heck of a restart, Doug.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get very interesting. And according to which lane, if I'm Bando, I think I'm taking that inside lane. You're going to have Darren Benz right behind him. So, according to which lane that Bando decides to take, which I would guess it will be the inside, it's going to be interesting here. And, the thing I'm kind of thinking in my mind here, too, after seeing that last restart, Kevin, is Lewis Bussa. What's his restart going to be looking like this time, especially if he does have that nose damage we just talked about?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, this whole restart is going to hinge on what the 27 can do here with those 2 tires. I think as we see the 4 taking a lucky dog there. The 33 is probably going to take the bottom here, which it looks like he is. This is going to really hinge on what the 27 does. Is he going to try and race him, or is he going to try to get down in there and get down low and try to race to 15? I think he knows he doesn't have a chance right on the get-go with the 33. But then again, we've seen some drivers with the 2 cars been able to hold on. So you got the 3 car in line with the 27. So like I said, in my opinion, Doug, and I have been wrong throughout this race, I think everything on what the 3 does is going to hinge on what the 27, also the 15.
Yeah, I think if you're the 27, you took that 2-tire gamble to try to get that track position. you've got to go racing in there. You've got to go after it because, you know, you need all the points you can possibly get after missing last week. And then you take the gamble like that, you've got to go for it now at this point. You can't let up and play easy. As we get the green flag here, heading off down the front stretch here, it looks like everybody gets up to speed really well as we're heading down into turn 1 here. It looks like the 27 up on the outside wasn't able to get up with the 33 down on the inside lane, but he's able to stay in front of Darren Binge here. As it looks like we got a battle back here for that 4th place position between Kyle Litt and Lewis Bussa. So the top 3 spread out single file, but we still got a side by side in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th here. So very
And
interesting.
look at the
way this
5
one
car,
can play
Doug.
out.
The five car is not giving that up.
No, he's hungry. He's looking for that position, and he looks like, well, I was going to say he'd clear the 3, but now he finally clears him, moves up into that 4th place position. The 0-3 of Bruce Turner was right there for 2nd on Bussa, but Bussa's able to get away with him in that 3 car as Darren Binge and Kyle Litt now running 3rd and 4th. You know, these guys got some ground to make up as all that battle was going on, but doesn't look like, whoa, Binge gets a little bit sideways right there. And 5 got into his rear end, but Dale Reynolds is right there with that 33 right now. He's got to try to make the most of this.
That's it. And here we are talking about 2 tires, and man, he must have stuck the wrench in the right hand side of that car to loosen it up with 2 tires, because I'm telling you, he's there. He's trying to make the best of it right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, Doug, if the 33 and the 27 get side by side and start racing the next couple laps, that 15 is going to pounce on them.
Oh yeah, that's a definite. I mean, if you're the 15, that's what you're hoping for right now after they've pulled this gap on you. You know, as those 2 get side by side, start battling things out, gives you the opportunity to kind of reel the 2 of them in. And like I say, especially here in about the next 2 laps or so, once those tire pressures heat up and those tires are at optimal temperatures, it's time to go then.
Yeah, and I tell you, the 27 is doing all that he can do. I'm not sure it's going to be enough to get up there and get that 33 as he's starting to drive for a little bit of distance on. The 15 is just saying, why couldn't it's been about 15 laps earlier?
Yeah, that's for sure. But looks like Binge in that 15 is able to pull up a little bit more right there on Dale Reynolds. He grabbed about a 1/2 tenth right there. So if he can get up there and get to Reynolds and make the pass quickly without having to battle side by side for very long, he might have a chance to reel in that 33 and bring home the championship, or bring home a win tonight, as he's still looking loose off the corner.
Yeah, we got 6 to go, and the 15's trying to get there, trying to get to that 27. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're pretty much going to be settled out here unless we have a caution. But looking back at the 5th place car, the number 3 of Lewis Bussa, you know, Doug, we've said it time and time, and not only the last 2 races, but it's happened during the season. The 3 has had bad luck on pit road, and tonight's another evidence of that.
Yeah, and I wonder, sitting here watching the 15 and also watching the 3, I'm kind of watching both of them right now, but that little incident they had right there on pit road, I wonder if that's going to be the difference maker for the 2 of them tonight, on especially for Binge not being able to get up there and challenge for that lead after this, because it looks like he's starting to lose ground now to the leaders and 2nd place.
Yeah, the 3, he's doing all he can. He's up in the wall. The 5 was up in the wall. They're letting it all hang out right now. You know, it's frustrating as a driver. You're sitting there and you're going, man, I had a car that could have won this race. But that's when you got to just settle in and say, look, I've gotten all it. The 15 is sideways trying to get through there. There's just got to be a point where you got to settle in and say, you know what, I'm not going to win. I'm going to have to try to dig right here and get what I can get.
And, you know, I'm kind of looking in front of our leader here, Kevin, but, you know, here comes the wild card. We got a lap down car that Bando's catching up pretty quick. But looks like he's going to clear him okay, but that could be, looks like he's really having some trouble there, you know, but Biddle's right there, and looks like Bando and him may have touched for just a second.
Yeah, that could have been disastrous for the 33 there. He's probably breathing a big sigh of release right there. Like I said, you got about 5-6 car lengths on the 2nd place car, and you're looking to pull away and win, and you got to tangle with a lap car. I'm sure he was a little upset about that one.
Yeah, and while all this is going on, Kyle Litt, that number 5 machine, Kevin, has been able to get around the 15 of Darren Binge. I think that little bump in the back of the rear of that car may have done more damage than we originally thought right there, because Binge just has not been able. Whoa, as Kyle Litt gets sideways and was able to recover it, but he really got out of shape right there in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, these guys are trying to get all they can get. It's just 2 to go right now. The 3 on the outside at a 15. That's for pride right there in that position. 4th and 5th going at it. You know they're just not going to lay over and let the other one by.
Yeah,
you
that's
got
your
first
and
you got 1st and 3rd at points there, Doug. So that's a battle right there.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be an easy walkaway, so to speak, here for Ben Bando as a white flag flies right there. Ben Bando takes a white flag with Reynolds in 2nd place, but looks like Lewis Buss is able to get around that 15. So, I'm not sure quite what happened at 15 here in this last little bit, as he's got Bruce Turner at 0-3 up on the outside of him now, trying to challenge him for that position. But, something definitely happened with that 15 of Ben's right there in that last pit stop to slow him down that much, because he just wasn't able to get the car back up there. But Ben Bando will bring home the lead as he crosses the line right there.
That's it. Look at the 5 car driving all the way up to 3rd. Lewis Busson in the 3 car gets up to 4th, but you got to think that incident on pit road pretty much ruined his chance to win that race tonight.
Yeah, I think that definitely had a lot to do with it. Good run by all these guys tonight, especially Bando, who, hadn't, and it's interesting that we talked about him, had not, hadn't led a lap for a while tonight, but he was there at the end and led those laps, which is the one that matters. So we'll say congratulations to Ben Bando on a hard-fought win tonight. And we're going to jump away to quick commercial break, see if we can get out of the studios here, head down on the track, and get in touch with some of these guys, get some interviews done tonight.
Link engaged.
Welcome to TeamSpeak, advanced voice communication software for any platform. TeamSpeak allows groups of people to communicate and share information with anyone via the internet or through private networks. Using your Windows, Mac or Linux-based computer, all you need is a headset with microphone, and in minutes you can be chatting with others in real time, using our crystal clear voice technology. As a pioneer in the industry, TeamSpeak has become one of the most recognized brands in online gaming and voice-over IP solutions. TeamSpeak features include a customizable toolbar, a clickable server icon and support for channel icons, custom graphics and BB code-enabled info panes, detailed user info and support for uploading avatars, firewall-friendly file transfer, tabbed public and private text chat with logging, custom skins, themes and sound packs, and much more.
I'm someone that's more than just a casual gamer. It's important to me to have fast, organized, quality voice comms. With TeamSpeak, I'm able to quickly customize user permissions and email a privilege key to an offline user. So the next time they log into the server, they'll be set up exactly how I want them to be. TeamSpeak also lets us do file transfers, assign player rank, insignia, upload avatars, or create custom skins. For me, there's no better choice out there than TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak is free to use for non-commercial entities. Low-cost professional hosting is also available through our global network of authorized TeamSpeak host providers. For online gaming titles, social networks, government, military, or simulator projects, TeamSpeak also offers a software development kit. The TeamSpeak SDK allows developers to integrate our technology directly into their existing product or service. So no matter which game you're playing or with whom you wish to communicate, TeamSpeak has you covered. TeamSpeak. Flexible, powerful, crystal clear voice communication on any platform.
And welcome back live to New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in Loudon, New Hampshire. For tonight's running of the Halls on Post 301. I'm standing by down here live right now with Dwayne Hull, sponsor of tonight's race. Dwayne, any special things you want to say about tonight's race, being as you are the sponsor for tonight?
Actually, that's a tough track. You know, had to fight your way every spot you could get. It was tough. Track position was everything. Kudos to the guys who stayed up front all night. And Bando for getting the win. Good job.
Right now, throughout the night, like you said, we kind of noticed it up here in the booth too, Dwayne. It seems like that track definitely went through some changes throughout the night. We noticed it up here in the booth too. Track temperature went up and down, and it seemed like the cautions kept falling about 40 laps or so, 45 laps, and that seemed to change a lot of strategy for a lot of guys out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cars got really loose at some points. I mean, some guys, even for me, I got it around once myself. Even the cars got really loose. The track, even this is a sim, people who are watching this thing, the track does have a progressive track changing. That darker groove on the track, it changes as the race goes on. So the rubber does change up and down on it during the runs.
All right, well, to understand too, I'm gonna kind of transition here real quick, Dwayne. I understand, Kelly, you're standing by down on the pit road with Dale Reynolds. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I got the driver, the number 27, Dale Reynolds EPR Chevy. Dale, you missed last week's race, man. You come in here driving like your hair on fire. What do you think about tonight's results?
I'm really, really impressed with tonight's results. We had to come in. We were in a position where we had to come in and we had to perform. Those of us who follow Nuff, I'm no stranger to missing the first race of the chase and coming back. So I'm really happy with tonight's race. It was definitely an interesting race with the changing track conditions. That was for sure. We had to come out and perform, and the second place is definitely going to help us out here, and the chase is going to get us back, hopefully, into the thick of things.
10-4 on that. Real quick, talk about the next tracks coming up and how you look for your outcome on those tracks in the chase.
Well, hopefully, I don't even know what next week is. I think Dover's next week. We won there in a fall race last year, so I'm pretty excited about that. These tracks coming up, we've had good runs in the past. Really happy with the performance of this car this week. New Hampshire is one of the tracks we still haven't quite got our heads around. We made great strides from June. We had a practice session here about a month ago, and we really found some. Still didn't quite have it yet. We didn't really have anything for the top 3 or 4 guys there at the end. But the track's coming up. We're looking forward to coming up these next couple weeks. We got a couple of tracks lined up that have been good to me in the past. So really looking forward to it.
10-4 on that. Great run tonight, Dale. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I want to give a shout out to EPR and everybody on EPR, man. They built another fantastic car. Big thanks to all my teammates for working with me, and just want to thank Dwayne Hall for the sponsor of this event. It's really cool that people are still wanting to throw money out into a sim racing league. That's pretty awesome. And just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank all the admins at NuffWORLD for putting on a great show. And we'll hope to see you next week. It should be interesting.
That's it, driver, the 27 EPR Chevy, Dale Reynolds there. Running second tonight. Hear that Doug's got somebody down there, an exciting new driver of the 51 car.
Yeah, that's correct, Kevin. I'm standing by down here on pit road now with the driver number 51 car, Jason Cotterill. And Jason, heck of a run tonight. You brought her home in 9th place, man. How's that make you feel coming home at top 10 tonight?
We're wrapped. So I wasn't expecting a top 10 at all. But went the wrong way on a couple of setups, a couple of times there, but I want to stay out of the way of the chase guys is my main obstacle.
Yeah, now we referred to, we talked about earlier in the race too, up here in the broadcast. You know, you're a rookie over here this year with NuffWorld, and you know, I've talked to a lot of the drivers out there, and you know, you've earned a lot of respect out here, you know, with a lot of these guys, and you know, as you raced your way up through the field tonight, you got into that top 10 position there at one point, and then something happened, you fell back in a bit. What was your strategy then to finally get back up into that top 10 where you come home with a 9th place finish tonight?
Yeah, I thought I pitted there and I got caught on the outside lane, I think, trying to get back on the inside. It was real hard. Once you were trapped out there, could run about 3 or 4 laps, but then the car got real tight. I lost about 6, 8 spots one stage there as they all passed me, but it was a tough track. If you were stuck on the outside, you didn't have much luck.
All right. Well, congratulations, Jason, on a 9th place finish tonight. You know, great run all the way around. You know, you brought home a top 10 tonight. So, you know, look forward to great things throughout the rest of the chase with you and going into next year. But understand, Kevin, you're down on pit road. You've caught up with Darren Benj down there in that number 15 machine. Is that correct?
That's it. I got a driver to number 15 down here, Darren Bench. Darren, you look like you had this thing sewed up like 75 to 80% through this race, and then things kind of took a turn there. Were you really praying for a caution there at the end to dial in that car?
Yeah, I had a short run car all night long. I mean, the car was pretty fast, but once we got 20 laps on the tires, it was just, you know, Ben and Lewis, they were pretty much the class of the field. I knew if I keep track position and couple of short runs at the end, I might have a shot, but it didn't work out in my favor.
But that's it. I mean, we said it all night long. Basically, we thought you had the fastest car on the restarts, and usually around getting into lap 30, 35, it would fall off. You're in pretty good position in the chase right now. Just take a few seconds here and just talk about the tracks coming up and how you feel you're going to be able to accomplish these tracks coming up.
Oh, well, some of the tracks coming up are, you know, of course, New Hampshire, probably one of my favorite tracks on the circuit. And I really like Dover and Charlotte. I'm looking forward to the chase tracks that are coming up. I've always felt that these tracks are some of my better, stronger tracks, so we'll see what happens.
10-4 on that. Hearing that you got the bonus points for leading the most laps tonight, 129 laps. So kudos on that, man. Drove one whale of a race tonight. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I'd like to thank Halls on Post for sponsoring the race, and NuffWorld, of course, for everything they do, running this show. It's a lot of fun racing here. And thank all my teammates for all the practicing we do and setup sharing. You know, we kind of share ideas and all. So other than that, thank the admins, and I guess that'd be it.
10-4, there we go. Not the finish he was looking for, guys, but hey, it's in the top 5 and it's points moving forward. Here, Doug's got the winner down there in Victory Circle.
Yeah, I'm standing down here on Victory Lane with tonight's winner, Ben Bando, driver of that number 33 machine. Ben, you know, we talked about earlier in the race, you know, tonight, you hadn't been able to get up there and lead very many laps during that first part, but it seems like there at the end, things finally clicked into place for you.
Yeah, Doug, we were riding for most of the night. You know, coming in the last race here, we were pretty dominant. So I felt really confident coming into tonight. And you know, like always, me and Busta, we need those long runs. We were only getting those short runs. We were just riding, you know, 30-lap runs. That wasn't gonna cut it for us. And then that one long run we had right before the end caution, that was critical for me because one second. Sorry about that. Got interrupted. But yeah, that last run was pretty critical because Bussa he had a bad restart, and I got, you know, a second or two on him, and he was complaining that he was struggling with the handling, and my car was just perfect. And then coming in on that last pit stop, I didn't overshoot it, but I went to the, you know, little forward in my box, and that made Busta have, you know, he had a bad exit, and once I knew Busta wasn't in second, I ended up taking it home.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about. You know, that final restart right there. You know, you had a couple of cars between yourself and you know, Darren Benj at 15. You know, what was your thought process when you cleared that first lap? You know, going after the first lap after restart with less than 10 to go, and you look in the rearview mirror and you didn't have that 15 or the 3 there to contend with.
Yeah, well, Travis, I know Darren, he was really fast all night in that 15 car, but I knew Travis, I think he suffered with some damage, but he was also really fast on the short run. And in practice, I was struggling on the short run to get speed, but you know, once we got 300 some laps in there, by the end, I was in a good groove, and you know, just hit my marks there at the end and ran some pretty fast times to hold off Travis.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Ben, on a another win tonight. That brings you home with 7 for the year, and should catapult you there in the standings a bit, you know, for the chase. So, as always, you know, tonight's winner. You know, I'll give you a quick second. You know, any thank yous. Mike is yours for a moment, and then I'm going to bring in Mr. Dwayne Hall, who I understand has a prize for tonight's winner.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys for doing the broadcast, Halls on Post for sponsoring an awesome race, and all my teammates over at America Championship Racing.
All right. Well, congratulations, Ben, on another win. And Dwayne, I understand. I'll let you make the announcement here. I guess you guys have a over at Holes on Post have a prize for tonight's winners.
Yeah, actually we do. Let me clear something up there. Halls on Post is my wife's company. She does all this. I mean, she's been following me sim racing for a million years, and she got into it about 5 years ago. And she puts this stuff up. She likes to put her name out there as much as she can and give prizes to sim racers. She knows Bando's. Bando's raced with her name on his car for several years. So it's cool, you know, and Bando's getting the ring tonight, and that's cool. I'll tell you this, Bando, it is a man-sized ring, and I don't know if it's going to fit on your finger or not.
Thanks for the compliment, Dwayne.
Couldn't help it.
But hey, congratulations once again to Ben Bando on tonight's win, and special thank you to Angela Hall over there, and to you too, Dwayne. I mean, I know you come out here and you help us out a lot too with a lot of the stuff we put on here at NuffWORLD, and definitely want to thank both of you, you know, for the support you've given us here at NuffWORLD. And you know, definitely, Stephen. I mean, I'm thinking we're going to be some stat changes up tonight. We're going to have to kind of look at that here in a moment, but. You know, that's going to be the interesting thing to see how things shake up over the next few races. But, you know, after tonight's race, you know, Louis Bussa still holds on to the VSU Cup Series Championship standings, you know, but Ben Bando cut it down, you know, 5 points between first and second tonight. And, you know, with tonight's run, Darren Benz, you know, 43 points behind the leader right now, currently running in the 6th place position. So a lot of movers tonight, you know, on our point series here in the VSU Cup Series. So, you know, looking forward to getting back next week. Just throw a couple of things out there for, you know, all those that sponsor us. You know, like I said earlier, we definitely appreciate all of our sponsors, especially Halls on Post sponsored tonight's running of the Halls on Post 301. But also want to give a quick thank you to all our affiliate sponsors also with TeamSpeak, Diamond Medical, Spatial, Potomac, TB Creative Designs, VSU, of course, for sponsoring the VSU Cup Series, Team CDS USA, Start and Park Blog, the Edinburgh Roadrunners, Game Informer, Vine for Designs. Man, there's a lot of them out there. And if any of you are looking, you know, maybe to come over and get your name on our site and kind of help out with some broadcasts, you know, head over to www.mynuffworld.com. Kind of check things out. There's an easy link there. And like to say, you know, for myself, Kevin Kelly, and joining me up here in the booth, and all folks for Stephen Mahana, thanks for joining us for tonight's presentation of the Halls on Post 301, presented by NuffWORLD TV, live here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And until next week, we'll be back for more live racing here next week. Same time, same channel. Stay tuned.